2 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
All right, the Cowboys are shopping. And they should be. Welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. Trade deadline, Pearl, coming up November 4th. It's a Tuesday. And, well, wouldn't you know it, the Cowboys might need a pass rusher. Huh.
Yeah, well,
Couldn't have seen that coming.
No, it'd be amazing. A young, explosive, game-changing pass rusher. Somebody, I don't know, maybe from Penn State in his fourth year. I mean, Micah Parsons. But, yeah, they do need a pass rusher. I mean, that's the reality of today in the NFL. The Cowboys need a pass rusher.
Well, and it's not a shock because they traded away Parsons, and it was all about stopping the run. Well, on your way to, reinforcing trying to stop the run, you forgot how to stop the pass. And quarterbacks have been teeing off on the Cowboys. But what makes this so interesting is that the Cowboys' offense is going at a historic clip. And you just saw and got the taste of having CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens together, both healthy and playing well and dialed in. Look at how good that was. And so I think a couple things have to happen. So obviously the Cowboys are, maybe swimming around the Max Crosby, Trey Hendrickson, but the Raiders came out yesterday and told Max Crosby, apparently at the facility, they have some practices before they go on their bye week, and told Max Crosby, we're not trading you. Calls may be coming in, but we're not trading you. So, A, do you believe it? Mm-hmm. B, is it the right move to keep Max Crosby, or this Raiders delusion that they're still in this thing and they are not, needing a full rebuild, which I think we both believe they do. And then for the Cowboys, let's say you win these next 2 games and now you're in this thing and you're a playoff team or looking like one.
Yep.
You almost you owe it to yourself to really go out there and make a big splash.
To be aggressive, absolutely. Your question, are the Raiders delusional? That is a capital Y yes. They are delusional to the point where they had a terrible roster coming into this offseason. And they're like, let's go hire Pete Carroll. And you know what? Let's draft a running back at number 6 with Ashton Genty because that might be a finishing piece. A finishing piece on what? Going from 4 wins to 6 wins? Yes, they're delusional. And yes, they should trade Max Crosby. I know there's a very special relationship with Max and the community, and that's cool. And he's a Raider, and he personifies Raiderdom. But come on, he is going to waste his career there because they're not even close. Yes, he would fit much better on a team that you laid out, like the Cowboys, who have a great offense. He would be an amazing finishing piece. Now, I don't think it's going to happen because the Raiders have a history of holding on to Max Crosby. Right. But yeah, this trade makes so much sense.
Well, and Crosby's not going to ask for a trade, right? Like Jacoby Myers, the wide receiver, has asked for a trade. Like he wants out. I'm sure he probably wants to go back to New England now that they have Drake May, and that offense looks a lot different or something like that.
But Dallas say, hey, you guys want me?
I'll
come.
I know, but he's going to have to share targets with some pretty awesome receivers. But fair point. I think anyone might be trying to get to Dallas right now because you get all the ancillary things of the good parts about being a Cowboy and the fact that, they are off to a better start. And I think let's also, they're 3-3-1. It's not like they're a 5-2 team. But if they do win their next 2 games, which are at Denver.
Tough.
Let me know, though, if you know who the Denver Broncos are.
No idea.
And then Arizona is the next game, and then at the Raiders, ironically, after that. There's also another component of this, which is up until last week, there were a lot of questions, I think, about the Eagles. Maybe you guys have put those to rest now after, the big game against Minnesota. And the Commanders look like the classic regression team. Jaden Daniels wearing 2 knee braces right now. He got hurt again. The defense looks old. Terry McLaurin hasn't been able to get on the field. So there's also a lane here for the Cowboys because of what the rest of the division is showing. We'll talk about the Giants if they can actually get in this thing.
I think that's unrealistic. I think we're talking wild card. I think the Eagles, we saw last week, they have enough talent left over that it's not going to be a total implosion. Dak actually owns the Eagles. He already lost 1 game. He usually beats them. But I think other than that, the Cowboys, you gave the easy part of the schedule. It gets a lot harder. There are a lot of contenders on that second half. I don't think their defense will hold up against a real test. I mean, we've seen it do okay against bad teams. I do not see this defense being able to stop the run in a major way. Ironically, Green Bay with Micah Parsons is now the best run defense in the NFL. Jerry said Micah can't stop the run in so many words. So he's like, let's get rid of him. He would bring in Max Crosby, and he would say he's a more all-around defensive end than Micah Parsons.
He's also older.
But I don't think that's necessarily true because Green Bay has not had the same problem with the run with Micah Parsons. I mean, I understand there are different pieces around. Remember Kenny Clark was supposed to come in, the former backer? That didn't work. So, yeah, I think the Cowboys are definitely closer to the margin, even with Max Crosby. I don't think that guarantees a playoff, but they got to take a shot. Now, I'm not going to get into Jerry's age, but Dak Prescott is playing so well. I mean, and you have this Pickens-Lamb thing is beyond their wildest dreams. They almost both got to 100 yards by halftime. So you have to take the shot.
I think so as well. And, it's funny because you look at what the Cowboys just could have had. And I was always so surprised when we sat here. We're on in Texas. We're on in the Dallas area. And the thought was Micah Parsons, good riddance. And I get it because there was a lot of other stuff, the dumb podcast, and Dak Prescott didn't appreciate it. And, with the Cowboys, it's always a sideshow. It can't ever be straightforward. But can we be honest with ourselves now? The offense looks so good that even the most, dyed-in-the-wool Cowboy fan who wanted nothing to do with Micah Parsons, you have to be a little bit like, you got to be kicking yourself just a little bit after, watching how Parsons basically closed the game for Green Bay last week against Arizona with the 3 sacks and like 10 pressures, and he was all over the field. But also because look at it, now you're trying to replace exactly what you handed and gave away to Green Bay.
In a sense, a little cheaper. But you got to remember, if you step back, look at the ownership groups we're dealing with here. This is Mark Davis trading with Jerry Jones.
Wow.
This is not going to be the Eagles trading with the Chiefs. I'm just saying, I don't think we're looking at a win-win situation with these 2 owners because every move they've made has kind of not worked out. I mean, Jerry let Micah go. Jerry pushed the Dak contract way too long and made it way too big. He pushed the CeeDee Lamb thing. He kind of got lucky that George Pickens, but George Pickens is behaving right now. Remember, his contract's up. We'll see where that goes.
Yeah.
And as for the Raiders, we should have seen this. I mean, obviously, I think I did see it. I saw it coming a little bit.
You did.
It is it's organizational dysfunction. We see it with the New York Jets. We see it with the Cleveland Browns. I don't see any reason why the Raiders would be different, even with a 5% stake with Tom Brady. It's not going to be the Patriots just because Tom Brady has a 5% stake.
I know, but even where's the GM? He came from Tampa. They're one
Yeah,
of
but
the
he just
best run
got there.
teams.
He hasn't had time to build a team.
But think of all the decisions that have been made, like giving Max Crosby the extension as opposed to trading him. Drafting Ashton Genty. Whose permanent record is that going to go on? Is it going to be Mark Davis? Is it going to be just John Spytek, whom most people don't know is the GM? Or is it going to be Tom Brady? And by the way, I'd be curious if we gave Tom a little truth serum. Does he think that keeping Crosby is the better thing or trading him away? Because former players, I think, do look at that who's the leader in the locker room? And we've talked a lot, actually, it was about Micah Parsons. Can defensive guys be leaders?
Right.
And I think Matt Crosby shows you that, yes, they can.
Yeah.
And so I wonder if Brady, even if it was not Belichickian to keep Max Crosby, the Belichickian thing would have been to trade him 2 years ago.
He got rid of Richard Seymour at the prime of his career.
I know, and ironically to the Raiders.
Yeah.
But I wonder if Brady, as the former player, is no, you got to keep the glue guys in.
Well, I mean, look what's happening in Philly. They're bringing back a Brandon Graham for number one reason he's there is leadership issues. He's got to fix that locker room. So Crosby is an incredible person and a great leader. So that's all true. But I think if Tom Brady is going to be a winning owner, he's going to have to be more like Belichick. He's going to have to be cold and callous and trade guys who are expensive at the peak of their career and build it their way. I mean, think of Tom Brady. He's a 6th-round pick. He's not going to be this guy who's going to build with blue chip players. I think he would want scrappy underdogs and build the way the Patriots did.
Totally, and all the Julian Edelmans and the Wes Welkers and stuff. But also, I think there's probably a part of Brady's man, my life got a lot easier when Randy Moss got there. And
but they didn't win. They didn't win.
Well, they got as close as humanly possible.
They won 6 other times.
No, but I wonder if he also thinks, hey, it's great to have great talent around you. 888-710-4ISN. This is what I'm curious about for the Cowboy fan. Would it ruin the good vibes that basically have started, I think, since the tie against Green Bay?
Yeah.
Because you lost to Carolina, so that was a little bit of a dip. But would it ruin the good vibes if you don't make a trade? Does it show that the organization is really not believing that this all-time offense and this Dak Prescott resurgence is real? They just want to do that thing where they keep you kind of strung along and keep the carrot on the stick, but they're not actually serious.
Yeah, but I do think that you said earlier that Cowboys fans did not want to pay Micah Parsons $47 million. I think they are skeptical of any big move Jerry makes. I mean, Jerry could trade for Max Crosby tomorrow, and he'd probably give up 2 first-round picks and pay him a ton. And immediately Cowboys fans were like, okay, great. We got this older asset that's going to clog up our salary cap for 3 years, and we have no future. They wouldn't, honestly, put it out to Cowboys fans. Would you trade 2 first-round picks for Max Crosby? I'll bet you a lot of them wouldn't.
2 first-round picks is rich.
Well, I'm saying if it's a crazy price, and I'm sure that's what the Raiders want something insane for him, why would they give him up for anything less? I don't think, that's it on the table. A midseason trade for that would be crazy. But the Raiders, if you're going to get Max Crosby, they basically said last night, you better bring the world.
The funny thing, too, about Trey Hendrickson, I'm seriously, Bengals? No way. You're going to go through that whole thing, and now you made the trade for Joe Flacco to try to keep the season alive, but you're going to turn around and trade a guy who you absolutely need if you have any prayer of keeping things afloat before Joe Burrow gets back?
That's a third owner. That's Mike Brown. Throw him into the mix of owners who you have no idea what they're going to do. Yeah, you're using way too much logic, Maggie. Forget, we're talking about Mike Brown, Mark Davis, and Jerry Jones. It's a totally get your head into, try and think like they think.
Can we get Woody Johnson? I was going to say,
yeah.
Who's missing from this foursome?
Yeah, get Woody Johnson in that mix. That'll be quite a show.
Maybe you need some scotch, a little, a glass of scotch,
This
a fancy bus.
crap.
A fancy bus. Just try and pretend for a second that you're one of those owners and think like those guys.
I would watch a reality show with those 4 guys, like the housewives of whatever, the NFL owners of bad teams, and just make a documentary on those 4 guys and what they do every day.
Oh my gosh,
gold!
Sign me up. Okay, so Netflix has quarterback and wide receiver, and they pick 4 guys and they follow them, or 3 guys. Please,
I heard these stories of Jerry Jones used to go to these dinners with Daniel Snyder. They were good friends, a former Washington owner.
Yuck.
And apparently they There were times that they would start an argument when the hors d'oeuvres were there, and the Snyder team would just leave. And then they would get back the next time, and they were best friends. And it was supposed to be chaos because these owners have massive egos, and I think they always think they're right, and Jerry certainly does.
If you want to find Dan Snyder, you got to venture out to international waters where I think some of the laws don't apply out there. It's crazy when you get out that far out to sea.
Oh, is he still out there? Is he still out there?
I think he's still evading being brought in front of Congress. May have been the last thing. Couple lawsuits. Bad? I mean, I don't want to get dragged in front of Congress, even if I, have some free time.
No experience in that.
That always funny clips, though, when sports people get dragged in front of Congress and the congressmen mispronounce the sports names. So that might be fun. You might make a clip like Sammy Sousser.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But talking to Rafael Palmeiro when he's pointing at Congress, it's like, but you are lying, sir.
Then he called him favor. He called him. He messed up Rafael Palmeiro's name so bad.
Remember Sammy Sosa forgot how to speak English once again?
My favorite part.
Oh, so good.
Well, I mean, you could lose an election. Remember that Massachusetts?
Very understandable.
Yeah. Remember that Massachusetts politician who thought that Kurt Schilling was on the Yankees?
Oh, God. See, not to get too sidetracked, call us up about the Cowboys. A, would you do 2 first-round picks for Max Crosby? B, would it ruin the good vibes if they do not make a trade, considering how good the offense is? This is my dream side hustle.
What's that?
Sports consultant for politicians.
Great
They
idea.
don't know what they're talking about.
Great idea.
They get the names wrong, dates wrong. Just you're swimming in international waters when it comes to sports. Let us help you.
Oh, yeah. I saw the other day Ron DeSantis was commenting on Urban Meyer coming back to Florida. And I don't know. It was kind of a funny tweet, but it didn't quite make sense. Like, he needs a sports consultant there because that's a big sports state, Florida.
Oh, my God. One of the more embarrassing ones, and there's been many. Yeah. But Penix is going to be inserted. That's me putting my foot in my mouth. But there was the soon-to-be former mayor of New York City thought it would be fun to call out a reporter who was sitting in the front row wearing a hat that he thought was for Boston and was like, how dare you wear this Boston hat?
Oh, no.
It was a Brooklyn Dodgers hat, and he once represented the borough of Brooklyn. Michael Penix. Yeah. It's stuff like that. It's like, we can help you. These are what the logos look like.
I don't know if we can. That's a pretty big job to help politicians, Maggie.
Yeah.
You think that's bad? Just show up to a news station, just help anchors announce, hockey names and baseball names, because they just lose it whenever they have to do one of those.
Oh my God!
I know. It's like Michael Penix. It's like the nerves, It's like a guy on the mound pitching to George Springer.
They can perfectly pronounce a Russian mob leader, Mikhail Muraklovlev. But then when it comes to someone as simple as Dirk Nowitzki, they will like, I can't do it. I can't do it.
Well, you just go by Mukalov's nickname, the Butcher. Every Russian mobster is always known as the Butcher. 888-710-4ISN. Okay. 888-710-4476. Is that the rap sign for me? Very good. So we're asking about the Cowboys. And from the Raider side of this, too, I imagine the Raider fans have to be so disappointed, Pearl. Not to rub salt in the wound. We're here for catharsis because you were pitched a competitive team. You were pitched a competitive team against your division rivals, like, I don't know, maybe the Chiefs. And you go into Kansas City and get blanked. And
it was even worse than the score. Believe it or not. Believe it or not, it was worse than 31-0.
You are totally right. And it's just been a disaster. And so, listen, would you want to trade away Max Crosby if it meant the beginning of the team actually acknowledging we need a rebuild here?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, you're going to get a quarterback in the draft. Geno Smith, the experiment has already failed. That was a big swing and a miss because, and I don't blame Geno. The team is not good. So they're rebuilding. Hey, at least you're bad. Do they? They do. There's no aspiration anymore. Like, this is if there was any question about a full rebuild, now it's on. Because they brought in Pete Carroll because maybe we can piece together some kind of winning team. Now they know. There's no question. Anybody who looks at this Raiders team and says, maybe if Pete Carroll coaches them up, they're totally delusional.
888-710-4ISN. Let's giddy up and go. Awesome Wednesday. We've got a great debate for you at 8 o'clock Eastern time, which you're going to love. And how about last night? Who pops up on the TV? The one and only
Carmelo
MJ.
Anthony.
Michael Jordan. On our televisions last night doing an interview with Mike Tirico, I spotted no fewer than 4 lies told in that interview.
It became personal with me.
You can tell us how you thought. We'll play some sound from that next. You got to listen to the GOAT. It's Maggie Perloff Show.
All right, Maggie, I was thrilled with NBA last night. I'll tell you why. Mr. Luka Doncic, easiest Prize Picks win I've ever had. In Prize Picks, you pick more or less on their stat projection. And Luka had a combo of points, rebounds, assists, and blew it out of the water. Lakers lost, but I won on Prize Picks. It was so much fun. If you're right, you can get paid. New users get $50 in bonus credit instantly in lineups when you play your first $5. App is simple to use. Just pick 2 or more players. Pick more or less on their stat projections. Anything from TDs to threes. And if you're right, you can win big.
Perloff, one of your favorite players in the NBA, I know this because I've been friends with you for more than a decade, Franz Wagner. I know you're a big fan.
I love all the Wagner brothers.
More than 21.5 points tonight, Orlando. And why don't you put that together with a little Dougie Hamilton, right? New Jersey Devils, a local. 2.5 shots on goal. Let's go more than on that as well. We're obsessed with Prize Picks because it's so fun and easy to play. Come along and play with us. If you're wondering, is Prize Picks available where I live? Well, it's available in more than 40-plus states, including California, Texas, Florida, and Georgia. Just download the Prize Picks app today. Use the code M&P to get $50 bonus credit in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code M&P to get $50 bonus credit in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
Mand P.
You're in a 4-minute break. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. 1 minute remaining. "45 seconds remaining. "30 seconds remaining. "15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
All right, back on Maggie and Perloff. Kind of a tough day if you're a Cowboys fan because there was some social media buzz. The Cowboys were pursuing the Raiders pass rusher Max Crosby. Then our friend and a great reporter, Jane Slater of the NFL Network, said that the Raiders talked to Max Crosby and said they won't trade him, pouring cold water on a trade that made sense. I think Jane, who's a great reporter, is right on here. I don't think this trade is going to happen, although it makes so much sense for both teams. The Raiders have to move on and rebuild. Cowboys are missing one thing, and it's ironic. It's a pass rusher, the thing they gave away in the offseason. Honestly, the way Dak Prescott is playing, I told you yesterday, I think he's the MVP.
Michael Parsons.
I really do. I think Mahomes obviously is the all-time MVP. Like, he could be the MVP any season. I think if Dak plays like the way he's been playing through 7 weeks and they have a winning record, I think he could easily win that award.
Yeah, maybe gets a little Cowboy bump because you weren't expecting maybe it to be this good. He's got some great weapons.
Cowboy bump, he's got the best QBR in the NFL.
I understand, but I'm just saying if you get to 10 wins or 9 wins, usually the MVP doesn't come from a team like that. You need a little extra, and that little extra could be the star on the side of the helmet because, again, he can have the best stats in the world, but if you're barely a winning team, generally they don't look your way for MVP. It's that kind of award. It's generally like a 12 or 13 win team where they take the best quarterback from the best team.
Well, you're right, but Dallas will be such a big story. Adrian Peterson snuck in when the Vikings in 2012 were barely a wild card team, hit 2,000 yards, and they gave it to him. Mahomes, by the way, right now looks like the MVP. Dude is running way too much, Maggie. Does he make this for 18 games? Does he pull back? It's a long season.
Let's go to the phones because the Raiders side of this is very interesting as well. Obviously, the season is not going the way you thought. So would trading Max Crosby be too much to bear? Let's go to Dakota, who's in San Diego. Dakota, as a Raider fan, how would you look at this?
I definitely think, I would just start off by saying before the season, I know a lot of fans had some sort of optimism. This team's got a long way to go, so I don't think everything was going to turn around in the span of a season.
Mm-hmm.
I think you got to keep Crosby. I mean, how many guys, especially a guy like Crosby, but how many guys in general in the league are going to come out and say that they want to play for the Raiders, they want to stay here? I mean, he's a leader in the locker room. He's a dog on defense. He's a dog on the field. I mean, you got to have a piece to build around. I think you got to keep him. We don't have a history of drafting all that well, so even if it's 2 first-round picks,
yeah,
we'll probably strike out on that as well.
But here's my question, Dakota. I get that, and as a Raider fan, I respect where you're coming from, but I have this question for you, and thank you for the call. By the time you said and acknowledged, this team's very far away.
Yeah.
So by the time you get to where you are even somewhat competitive in this division, is Max Crosby past his prime at this point?
Yes.
And forget even getting a first-round pick for a guy, because then he's going to be old and expensive.
Well, here's the thing. His contract essentially is $80 million over the next 2.5 seasons. Kind of reasonable. I think that's why teams would really want to trade for him. In the way the defensive end position bumped up after Crosby traded his deal, he's relatively inexpensive. But that means for the Raiders, too. He's not killing their cap completely. So the Raiders have a lot of reasons. They're like, well, he's not killing us. We could still sign other guys and draft other guys. We might as well keep him. I think that's what they're thinking.
How about Tyrone, who's in Dallas? Tyrone, you need something on the defensive side. What about Max Crosby?
There's no way I'm giving up 2 first rounds, let alone 1 first round for Max Crosby. I say this only because we need more than one thing to make a playoff or NFC championship game. We got Jackson Burke as a linebacker. We're going to get rid of Trevin Diggs next year, so we're going to need multiple corners. We need safety because our safeties just act like they don't know how to cover. So there's no way. We're not more than one piece away to win a Super Bowl. So there's no way I'm giving up those picks. I'd rather get Reuben Baines Jr. in the draft, and because you need a pass rusher, therefore you get a young pass rusher instead of starting over with an older pass rusher.
Well, Tyrone, I'd love to know the plan. Thank you, sir, for laying that out. You're right. The defense does need a lot more help, but how are you getting Reuben Bain? Are you picking in the top 5 suddenly? Because he's going to go super high.
I don't know.
From Miami.
I heard Kuiper say the other day that they're a little worried about his speed and his arm length. Arm length, his back.
Oh, or back with the stupid arm length.
He might fall out of the top 5 to 10, 11, but that is a great point, by the way. They are definitely not a Max Crosby away from having an elite defense in Dallas. And the problem is Diggs and Bland are awesome, but they're older and injury prone. So, and that's we'll see if DeMarvion Overshawn has a future. There definitely is not just one hole on that Cowboys defense. And the other thing, too, is when push comes to shove, you could run on that team. And they still haven't completely fixed that. And Max Crosby wouldn't fix that.
888. Yeah.
We saw that defense with Micah Parsons. Did it scare you?
No, but the offense now, you have to understand it works in concert, right? Like, the offense is so good, I think you owe it to your team to make a move.
All right.
It's just pure irony that they need a pass rusher and they traded one away. 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. Andrew Bogish is here with all the latest. What's going on, Bogues?
Mom, Dad, good morning. Headlines are sponsored by Prize Picks. Football's heating up and basketball's back. So download the Prize Picks app and use code PRIMETIME.
Don't forget, I had 2 sons.
And get $50 in bonus credit instantly when you play $5. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
Go Knicks.
Get used to this. While LeBron deals with sciatica, Luka taking 27 shots, scoring 43 points, 12 rebounds, 9 assists, and the Lakers lost.
Butler dribbles in. Pump fake. Goes up, throws to Peyton in the near corner. Out to Curry with 5 on the shot clock. Deep 3. Got it! And Laker fans shaking their head. Start to head to the exits. It's 117-107. Warriors, 48 seconds to go.
Tim Roy on Warriors Radio. Steph Curry, 23. 31 from Jimmy Butler in a 119-109 opening night win in L.A. J.J. Redick on figuring out how to play without LeBron.
It's hard to forget about LeBron. The reality is when you're focused on the group that you have, you got to make that group work. So it's sometimes you can just be like, oh my God. We're going to get LeBron back at some point.
Maybe. And, of course, opening night began with the Thunder raising their banner, then holding off the Rockets 125-124 in double overtime. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander hit the deciding free throws with 2.3 seconds left.
Yeah, I don't know how to describe it besides that. It was super fun, though. Seeing the banner raised was cool, too. Knowing that it'll be up there forever. And we were the first group to bring the city a championship was a pretty special feeling.
Yes, ending that long drought that we all needed to end for OKC/Seattle.
Hey.
Kevin Durant.
It counts. But by the way, you're about to get to Durant because the funny part is they raised the banner, something that Durant got close to doing in OKC. They made it to a finals, but they got beat pretty decisively by the Heatles, if you remember that.
And then they got broken up.
And then they got broken up and then continued to splinter. But last night could have been an all-time bad night for Durant. I mean, he was right in the middle of some big, big mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
Missing a free throw at the end of regulation. Fouling SGA in double overtime, fouling out, sending him to the free throw line. But that's not all. Bogues?
You've stumped me.
Oh, Call a timeout, Bogues, and look it up.
No, I didn't. Sorry, I didn't know where we were going there.
It was a tough one. So, yeah, as I mentioned, missed the free throw. And then near the end of the second overtime, he called,
At the end of the first
overtime. He definitely called a timeout.
Yeah.
He gets a rebound. There's like 0.4 seconds left. He goes for the timeout. Official suddenly looking anywhere but with the guy who has the freaking ball in his hands. And time expires, and we end up going to double overtime. That should have been a technical foul because the Rockets were out of timeouts. It would have been 2 free throws, just like we all watched in the national championship game when Chris Webber had this blunder against North Carolina. And for some reason, I don't know why the referees, you got 3 of them on the court, nobody's looking at the guy with the basketball in his hand.
No, Maggie, you don't understand. He wasn't calling timeout. He was clapping like Kirby Smart.
It's a Kirby Smart.
It's Kirby Smart clap, timeout, clap.
I don't know if the opening night game of an NBA season, one of 82, is exactly the same as Chris Webber calling timeout with a few seconds left in the national title game.
The second trip to the national title game for the Fab Five.
Yeah, with an iconic team. Not exactly same, although the dynamic was similar. Actually, KD's would have been worse because Chris Webber had a reason to call timeout. KD should have just let the clock run out.
That's true. And although I went back and watched the Chris Webber one because I just wanted to, I don't know. It's so painful. It's so painful to watch him. He is devastated in the moment, but I think that someone from the bench told him to call timeout. That was something that came out years later because people are dumb.
Yeah.
But I got to tell you one thing. He was trapped in the corner. How do we know that they were going to score?
Yeah, he dribbled right into the trap.
Yeah, they were in trouble. That's why he called timeout.
Also, he had this amazing game. His stat line from that game was unreal. Not unreal, but it was great, efficient. He was 11 for 17. He has the high score for the team, 23 points. He had 11 rebounds and 3 blocks, 1 turnover.
Yeah, he was him, Chris Webber, back in the day.
I'm sorry, he was 11 for 18. Is that what I said? 11 for 18. Good night.
None of that matters now because he called timeout, even though he may say he was clapping now.
I know. Why did he use that?
Yeah, he should have used that years ago. Maybe it would have worked. Worked on SEC referees.
I know.
Full opening night on the way, by the way, including the Hawks hosting the Raptors and the Kings in Phoenix tonight. Texas A&M.
Those are the games you chose?
Yes. Thank you for noticing.
Oh, my God.
Texas A&M football docked the new max of $50,000 for a player faking injury in Saturday's win over Arkansas. Video shows a staff member telling the player to get down on the turf, even though he didn't seem to be injured in any way. The Aggies were also flagged, lost a timeout for this during the game. The Angels have hired Kurt Suzuki as their new manager.
Sure.
You may remember him from his 16-year career as a catcher, but he has never been a professional coach. So let's definitely put him in charge of a team that is going nowhere. He has been a special assistant to the GM in Anaheim for the last 2 seasons. And let's finish with some overtime hockey.
Savoy against Pinto. Savoy wins it. Woolman scores! Jake Woolman, welcome back! The Oilers win it 3-2 in overtime.
I don't know where Jake Wallman was, but he was back last night to score the game winner 3-2 for Edmonton, getting that win in Ottawa. Guys, back to you.
Bogusch, thanks so much. Michael Jordan was on our TVs last night, and this was awesome. We're going to take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll play all the lies that Michael Jordan told to Mike Tirico.
Be nice.
Kidding, kind of, in a 3-minute interview. It was glorious. It's the Maggie Perloff Show.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. 3 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Pearl, I promised myself. I was like,
Yes.
man, we're all getting a little too worked up over a theme song, are we not? Then last night, the beat drops on NBC, and I was all in.
Just put it in my veins. Bring me back to a day when guys like Greg Ostertag roamed the lane for the Utah Jazz. Game of the week, Sean Kemp. That was the best part of the NBA.
There was so much Jeff Hornacek on our TVs.
Oh, it felt like the Jazz were awesome, and they were on TV. The Sonics, Jazz, Suns, and of course the Bulls.
And then in like a lot of Rick Smiths, I feel like I watched a lot of him for the Pacers.
Well, I had to look it up. NBA was on NBC last in 2002. That really changed the trajectory of the league when they changed. Felt like it went from, I mean, Jordan left, so that must be why, but felt like it went from, the maybe second sport to the NFL, and it definitely fell to me.
It was funny how they started their pregame coverage with all the younger stars in the NBA, from the Shays to the Anthony Edwards, Jalen Brunsons. I don't have any memory of the NBA on NBC. And I was like, I relate right now with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Jalen Brunson, and then they had the dinosaurs, Kevin Durant and LeBron James, and then they joined the little montage that they had pregame, and they were like, oh yeah, NBA, you guys basically just did.
Yeah, no, like, but ours was like Kevin Durant, those guys, like Kevin Garnett, these guys were babies. We watched them in high school, projecting them, like the Gary Paytons. There's a lot of Gary Payton on our TV. You mentioned Sean Kemp.
Yeah.
It was all the good nostalgia all together last night. And we got 2 good games.
Yeah, I feel like SGA, by the way, in particular, would have fit really well in that 90s. I was watching him. I'm like, he could have been playing in 1997.
Was it his 37th mid-range jumper of the game that gave it away?
I don't know. He just felt like a 90s player, too. And I got some nostalgia vibes. As you said, KD, that's nostalgia on the court. So, yeah, that was the cool part about last night. And now I don't know if NBA being on NBC is going to remain cool, but I will tell you one thing, Maggie. This Michael Jordan will provide us a lot of content.
Oh my God, the sports gods, the broadcasting gods, they giveth, they taketh. We get no Pat McAfee and Aaron Rodgers every week. Well, in comes Michael Jordan, the freaking GOAT, to come sit down with Mike Tirico and just give us some awesomeness. So we'll set up for you. This was a pre-taped interview, so it was not live. It was very glossy. They're somewhere at Jordan's house or something, one of his homes. And here's Michael Jordan on what he's been doing basically since, they said retirement, but I think Tirico meant like sold the Hornets, like he's out of the basketball business.
It's amazing. You never really know when you're in the prime of your career how much time you really do not have for family. That's what I have time to do now. I mean, the most valuable asset I have is time. Right. So that's probably why you don't see enough of me, because that time I'm trying to spend with family members and things that I've been missing out on for such a long time.
Is this caddy a cousin? I love this.
Michael Jordan has family?
The first lie right out the gate. I mean, kidding. I don't know. It's just funny because obviously some of the headlines coming out about Michael Jordan's son, Marcus Jordan, are not so flattering. You would think maybe they don't have the closest relationship because Marcus was, dating Jordan's teammate, ex-wife, Scottie Pippen's ex, and then they broke up a multitude of times. It got really dramatic and weird, and then he got caught by the police. I think he was driving on some train tracks. Like, that's not good, and definitely the drop the, do you know who my father is? Like, it just doesn't seem like maybe they're all spending Sunday supper together.
I believe, though, he does have little kids.
Oh, does he?
I think so.
With the newest
he got
wife?
I think he got remarried. Double check that. I think he has little kids, and I know he's a grandfather too. So he probably does have a family.
Maybe he didn't specify exactly who he's spending time with.
Wait,
I thought
Michael Jordan has little ones?
I didn't know that.
I think he does, but I double check. Well, or not. I don't know how little they are, but I think he's had other kids. But I could be totally wrong.
I didn't think he ever had kids with the newest wife. But anyway, and I'm sorry I'm blanking on her name. She's a person with like. It's not just Michael Jordan's wife, but for these purposes. Anyway, I just assume that Michael Jordan's on a golf course with Ahmad Rashad every day.
Yeah.
And I kind of don't want that to be pierced. Like, I don't want to know the reality maybe of what Michael Jordan does on the day-to-day. I want to think of him hustling somebody for money every day on a golf course.
I got 5,000 on this putt right now.
You mean 500,000?
Wow.
More from Michael Jordan mentions that the first time he's picked up a basketball in a while, he was terrified. He's got this weird relationship now with the game.
I was at the Ryder Cup.
Yeah.
And I rented a house from the owner.
Sure.
He came over to do pictures.
Ryder Cup, of course.
He had grandkids. And I was meet and greet and thank him for allowing me to stay in the house. And he had a basketball court. He says, I want you to shoot one free throw. I said, really? And I already paid for the house. It's not like he got to see me. So when I stepped up to shoot the free throw, it's the most nervous I've been in years.
Stop it.
Stop it.
It was strange. And here's more from Jordan. He said he made the free throw, but he wasn't sure he'd be able to do it.
Reason being is those kids heard the stories from the parents about what I did 30 years ago.
Right.
So their expectation is 30 years prior, and I haven't touched the basketball.
I hope you swished it.
Absolutely. I got the most gratifying that made my whole week is that I was able to please that kid, not knowing if I could. It became personal with me.
It's funny. I couldn't tell at first, was this just, again, another lie to kind of set him up as the hero? Like, of course, I was nervous, but I got through it. Did he swish it? Hell yeah, I did. Bullseye.
Of course.
Nothing but net. But, I guess this is possible that Michael Jordan just does not play basketball, doesn't shoot at all anymore, and then got nervous because now his legend, which is totally fair, but now it's gotten to the point where it's so big that maybe he feels like he can never make a mistake. You can't ever miss a free throw.
Switched it. Absolutely.
Of course I did. And Michael freaking Jordan, you're not. But I think that.
Well, I mean, do a lot of other 62-year-old players go out there and show off their skills? Like, the older players never touch a basketball. Dr. J barely ever touched the ball after he left the game.
He dunked one time when he was
I was
70.
At 60, I think. But 60. Yeah, I generally, though, that I don't think a lot of older players, they play golf. They don't play basketball.
Yeah, but it's kind of like the muscle memory of it. Like, he didn't ask you to take off from the free throw line and do the dunk from the dunk contest in 1988 or whatever. Like, that's
how you impress the kids.
But this is the other thing that Michael Jordan said. He goes, I didn't want to miss this because the kids, the grandkids, right? Like, they would have thought different of me. And I want to be like, because their parents, are the ones who really talked it up. I'm like, their grandparents. I mean, the parents depends. If these kids are 5 years old, the parents actually grew up, with Jordan when we were really little, because that would be like my age, and I'm kind of an older parent for a 6-year-old. It's kind of like the grandparents now, too.
Yeah, it's funny.
The parents grew up with LeBron.
My daughter is 15, and her friends asked me about one person and one person only, and it ain't Michael Jordan. Can you guess who it is? Basketball player?
Kobe Bryant.
Kobe is their Jordan. It's
interesting.
He really, and they didn't even see Kobe play really, and he really has resonance with young people. I don't know why exactly.
Well, I mean,
but they
has the
didn't see
Mamba
him.
Mentality, Nike, his success.
Yeah. It should be SGA, or it should be Luka Doncic, or it should be Giannis, but it's definitely Kobe. And I think for my generation, our generation, Jordan is an iconic figure that will never be overpassed. Except you have LeBron passing him.
Well, let's get to one last Jordan thing. So this is the sit down on NBC last night. Jordan's going to be a contributor to NBC, going to give his thoughts on basketball. Mike Tirico asked, why did he decide to do it? Here's what he said.
It's pay it forward. I have an obligation to the game of basketball, not financially. I'm okay. I mean, I think more or less from as a basketball player is to be able to pass on messages of success and dedication to the game of basketball.
I mean, okay. Funny that he even brought up, like, financially, like, I'm comfortable. It's like, I'd hope so. You make $1 billion. But the other part is, I owe it to the game of basketball. Maybe helping the game of basketball would have been making the Hornets a good franchise. They're one of the worst franchises in the NBA. Not only that, they're completely irrelevant. And you were at the helm for a decade or more. Like, maybe that could have been the contribution to basketball. But okay, we'll do the Mike Tirico thing. Let's sit down with Tirico and talk about the pick and roll.
The money's funny. I'm seeing his net worth at well over $3 billion. So I don't know how many golf bets you have to lose to need money off of that, but it's a lot of money. That formula, we saw the movie, Maggie, you and I went to a premiere of Air about how he set up the contract. Man, that keeps paying off. So he has all the money in the world.
His mom did that, according to the movie.
Yeah, I mean, he wants to pay back in the sense that I think he wants to be relevant. I think he secretly, he disappeared as a Charlotte owner. He would never do interviews except with the team. So maybe I think that is more important to him now than actually giving back.
So the 10-part documentary didn't drive that point home?
That's a hint.
It's funny because you wouldn't, obviously, maybe
it became personal with me.
Maybe this is the thing about Jordan. No one would ever even question whether or not financially he was in a spot where he needed to work. But it's funny. After he said that, I started thinking, I don't know, he's got some major investments. He's in on the auto racing.
Mm-hmm. But I think he's done well there.
I don't know.
He's probably made money on that.
I don't know how that business is, right? I mean, I'm sure.
I think good.
Sure. It's your car's a walking advertisement, so or a driving advertisement. So I think so, but I know nothing about really the financials of owning a race car.
Yeah. All I know is the financials of what one of those shoes costs, and some of that goes to Michael Jordan. Still getting money from Nike, so I think he's fine financially.
But think about it. Of all the vices to have or addictions,
Yep.
what's the one that would drain your bank account the fastest?
Yeah.
Gambling.
Gambling. $3 billion, though?
Oh, that might not all be liquid. JT's in Atlanta. Good morning, JT.
Hey, good morning, guys. Thanks for taking my call. I just got to start off with this, as a Laker fan, I got to reach out to all the other Laker fans out there that are like, hey, we finally get to see what the team is going to be like without LeBron. This isn't it, because LeBron is taking up space and financial money. So even though it didn't look great, without LeBron, there's still going to be hope because it'll be a whole different team. And this is him just being the most LeBron thing that I could think of. He's trying to show us, like, okay, watch what you guys are without me, right? But it's not that. This is not what that is. And he comes up with this injury that you can't prove. I'm surprised he didn't say he had migraines or headaches or some other unprovable injury that, is just in his head or that you can't just quantify. But the other thing you guys were talking about as far as the Cowboys, I don't understand that Cowboys fan, I wouldn't give up. You just got 2 picks for Micah. Give those 2 picks away, get a great pass rusher, and it's a wash. I mean, like, you guys are acting like, what? JT, are those picks going to be that much?
JT, you bring up a good point, and thank you for making it. We're just up against the top of the hour. But you know what's funny about that? Do you remember the day they traded Micah Parsons away?
Yeah.
And what did Jerry and Steven both say? Hey, we could flip another one of those picks before the season starts.
Yep.
It almost looked like they were ready to use those picks. We were asking whether or not the Cowboys should go all in for Max Crosby. And you can weigh in at 888-710-4ISN. Is JT's alleging that LeBron James is faking this injury?
Oh,
yes, he does.
Okay, so LeBron can't use migraines as a fake injury because Scottie Pippen had a migraine very famously, and people clowned him about it in a playoff game.
Oh, come on.
I'm saying if you're workshopping injuries, I don't think migraine goes over well.
Migraines is fine. You can't get 4 weeks for migraine. Hey, why is there a problem if LeBron's faking an injury? It's called load management. I don't want LeBron out on the court right now. Save him. What's wrong with that?
Well, did you watch the game last night? I know you did.
I don't know if LeBron would help.
Can Luka Doncic score 40-plus points a game and the Lakers be okay?
Yeah, he's skinny now. Of course they can.
Good point. Coming up, Russell Wilson turns heel. Yes.
You're in a 5-minute break. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
My favorite new person in sports is not someone who's new at all. Welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. But I'll tell you what, Russell Wilson just got a whole lot more interesting. Pearl, did you see it yesterday where all of a sudden Mr. Unlimited, but also Mr. Corporate, Mr. Polished, Mr. Never has a, hair out of place, Russell Wilson.
Unlimited.
A little cringy sometimes. But Russell Wilson, who I remember just even the interviews that he would have on the Dan Patrick Show, you guys did a great job with him, but he is like a hard nut to crack, right? Like
very much so.
Is very, very much polished. And yesterday just goes to social media and takes a flamethrower to Sean Payton. Here's the tweet. Classless, but not surprised. Didn't realize you're still bounty hunting 15 plus years later through the media. And that was because Sean Payton revealed that before they faced the New York Giants, where Russell Wilson is obviously the backup now, that he told John Mara, I wish you hadn't started Jackson Dart in this game. We were hoping for Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
And so I love this new Russ. This feels like heel turn Russ. This is no more Mr. Nice Guy Russ. He's seen a lot. He's been through a lot. He and Sean Payton have a terrible history together. But I love Russ. Now I'm like, do Richard Sherman next, because this guy's been taking shots at you for years now in the media. Let's see you go after the Legion of Boom, who keeps calling you out like you ruined the franchise.
Yeah, I've never been able to figure out the Russell Wilson issues with his teammates because, like you mentioned, I've been around Russell Wilson since he was at Wisconsin with Dan Patrick Show, and he is a very nice guy on the surface. He's fake, probably.
Mm-hmm.
He would admit that. So it's amazing it took this long for the dam to burst because he has every right to be mad at Sean Payton. I don't know why. What is Payton's issue with Russ? I understand Richard Sherman. I understand that Russ got too much credit for that Super Bowl team. We were all there for that. And I understand that Russ did not work out with Payton. But he actually won some games for Payton. There must have been something else. But he seemed like a team player in Denver.
Well, you have to remember, there was a moment when they benched Russell Wilson or threatened to bench him because he wouldn't basically sign off on getting rid of some injury guarantees. Like there's part of a football player's contract where if they get hurt, no matter what, some of that money kicks in. And according to reports, Sean Payton wanted to take some of that out of Russell Wilson's contract. So basically he'd be flying blind out there. He could get, cracked in the back and end up, paralyzed from the waist down, and he wouldn't get any injury guarantees.
Right. And also remember that Payton yelled at him on the sideline one time on a play that wasn't even a bad mistake. Russell threw the ball away or something, but it's because an offensive lineman missed his block, and Russell walks over to the sideline. He chews him out in front of the cameras for nothing. It was a very unusual coaching move. So Payton's got something going on here that is way over the top.
And Russ called him out. And, listen, the Broncos end up winning that game in dramatic fashion. Manny, sorry. But so I guess they sort of get the last laugh. But I love this from Russ because, listen, let's be honest. Like, it's coming to the end here for Russ. It's the end. This is it. Maybe he could catch on as a backup somewhere, but there's not going to be another team that gives him a starting job like the Steelers did last year and like the Giants did this year. And to me, if you're going to start your next career in the media, which is very lucrative now, and guys can just walk into the broadcast booth or on the set, Russ just got a whole lot more interesting to me if he's going to start calling out guys, because Richard Sherman, it's the best thing Richard Sherman does. It's the most interesting thing he does on those Thursday night games. I like this lane for Russ because it's really unexpected. And by the way, I think people can back him up on this one. It was classless from Sean Payton.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to get this Russell Wilson that you want.
I wish we would.
That's not who he is. That's not, no, but when a guy who is not naturally sort of a hot taker who goes out and rips people, like if Russell Wilson gets on NBC next year and rips people, it's going to come off as so fake. And
it would help that broadcast. I mean, I'm just saying, like, that could infuse a little. Because here's the thing about Russ, right?
Yeah.
Even though the end of his career is maybe not gone the way he wanted to, the guy has the gravitas to speak freely about the NFL. Or college football, he decided to go that route. It's a little hard to rip college players. Like, you want to be maybe a little sensitive about that, even though they're technically professional athletes now. But he's seen a lot. He's been through a lot. He's got a great story. It's an underdog story. And I think people will pay attention to his NFL opinions. And then if he wants to do a little story time every now and then and air some people out, all the better.
Russell Wilson is not airing people out. He's going to be like Brady, and he's going to have his hand in 9 different new age businesses. Russ is spread out thin already. He's got a lot of mental health partners, and he's got all sorts of interests. Like, there's no way that he's going to get up there and sort of be the hot taker on ESPN. It's not going to happen in a million years.
I have not cared about anything that Russell Wilson has done until yesterday.
But you care about any of the weird Tom Brady companies? No, of course not.
I mean, TB12 I thought was interesting because it kind of led to the end of, it kind of ushered in some ways, the breakup between Brady and Belichick. I mean, having Alex Guerrero, the body man, how do we even know who Alex Guerrero is? He should not be a name that's like known to sports fans. And it's Brady's body guy, and Belichick didn't like it. That other teammates, that he was pulling along other teammates instead of following the team doctors.
I mean, it took years of sort of abuse by Sean Payton and our friend Richard Sherman to get Russ to snap one statement.
He just couldn't take it
You think he's going to
anymore,
get out there and be a hot taker?
Kinda.
No way. He's not the next Stephen A. There's no way this is happening. I don't know why you even want to see it. It would be so awkward. Russell Wilson, he came out there and said, if Lamar Jackson had a bad playoff game, you think Russell Wilson would rip him? No way.
Okay, so EJ is the most well-versed on the show in professional wrestling, right?
Correct.
It's not even close. And so this to me represents like Russ reinventing himself. How many times do wrestlers, and I know that's not real, but now we're talking about his public persona, not his football acumen.
It's not real.
Well, you know what I mean. The kayfabe. But like his public persona, we hear this all the time with wrestlers. Like, I was doing this one gimmick and it just didn't work. And I couldn't understand why I wasn't getting any heat. That's the industry term. And then all of a sudden I started painting my face, or I put this weird cast on my arm, or I started limping, pretending to limp, or I changed my name.
Came up with a word named Yeet.
Yeah, or all of a sudden I came up with The Rock, and now all of a sudden I'm like the biggest thing in the world. So I like this for Russ. It's almost like a reinvention. This could be the real him, by the way, and he's just been masking the other stuff for all these years.
That is 100% not the real him.
I do. The one thing I will say that Maggie has been teasing this as a heel turn. This is the opposite. This is a babyface turn. Now, I know it may be weird for the babyface to be taking shots at people, but wrestling has actually evolved now where babyfaces now do take shots, and they are the person who is the cool guy, quote unquote, who's not trying to be cool. He's just being himself, so to speak. This is Russ, I think, being a babyface. A lot of people didn't like Russell Wilson for a lot of other stuff.
Right.
In many ways, he was a heel because he was pretentious, because he was this guy that thought he knew it all, because he was this guy that didn't think that he was his crap stank, right? Like, he wasn't that kind of person. Here, he's like, oh, this bad guy that keeps talking smack about me, normally I just turn the other cheek or whatever. No, I'm actually going to go at him. And now he's getting praise for it. Like, people aren't, besides Denver Broncos fans, people aren't mad at him. I saw some Denver Broncos fans in my mentions that were like, this was great, actually. I kind of like this. Like, even though he was terrible for us, like, this was messed up what Sean Payton did. I think a lot of people supported him. So I think this is a babyface turn, Maggie.
Wow.
I don't think this is a heel turn at all.
Either way, it's working.
This
is my point.
You know Russ. Do you honestly think he's going to? I mean,
You
his
know
public.
Russ. I do not.
You know his public image.
Well, yeah.
You really think this one statement is going to change anything? I was just looking at what his different business interests. Remember, he founded a company called Limitless Minds with Trevor Moawad, who is a sports psychologist who sadly passed away. It was terrible. They are getting tons of funding lately to have improve AI-driven performance coaching. That's Russ's lane. He is into a lot of different, very serious businesses. He's a serious person. I know. There's just no way he's going to get out there like Rex Ryan on ESPN and be like, who is it that Rex ripped recently? Oh, Shedeur Sanders. Yeah, a guy who's not even on the field. You think Russ is going to get out there and rip Shedeur Sanders? There's not enough money in the world. I don't know what NBC is paying Michael Jordan, but there's not enough money for them to pay Russell Wilson to get out there and rip anyone. It's
Let's
not
make
going to
sure
happen.
we play like the New York Jets.
Yeah.
Let's get some truth serum in the new Russell Wilson and ask him about Shedeur Sanders.
No. You think Tom Brady is kind of bland as a broadcaster? Multiply that by 10. That would be Russell Wilson in the booth.
No, Brady's fighting himself a little bit, but I think this is the thing about Brady. I think it's only against teams that he actually has a reaction. Like he was calling that Ravens game the other day.
Yeah.
Weirdly, he was calling a 1:00 Ravens
The
game.
Rams-Ravens?
Yeah, with Cooper Rush in. It's not even Lamar Jackson, but that's fine. Maybe
And not even in L.A. It was in Baltimore.
It was Baltimore. You set these schedules, maybe months and weeks in advance, so whatever. But he was destroying the Ravens. I mean, crushing them. And I'm thinking back to myself like, man, how many playoff games were we in Foxborough with the Ravens? And whether he won sometimes, he lost sometimes. I think he's got real beef with the Ravens.
But he loves Lamar Jackson, though. If he was on the field, it'd be a different narrative.
Well, maybe because Lamar does stuff that even Tom Brady couldn't think of doing in his career as far as athleticism. But this was like, I think Brady, it has to be a little personal for it to come out, just like maybe with Russ. But to be fair, there's a lot more here. Like, let's get into the Legion of Boom. Let's get into Pete Carroll. Let's get into everything. And let's
Good luck. You're trying to get blood from a stone. There is no way this is happening.
Other thing about Russ, we're talking about him calling out Sean Payton in a tweet. I called it a heel turn. EJ called it a baby face term, these wrestling terms. Either way, he's got our attention. This dude is as close to Hollywood as anybody. His wife is this famous singer.
Slash actress who is a co-star of mine. Just my boy. That's my
show
boy.
business.
Yeah, sure.
Perloff's been closer to Ciara than anyone else in this room.
See, that's the one thing I'm thinking about. I feel like this was maybe something that was inspired from Ciara. Because Ciara, they're both very, they're both very, philanthropics. They're very much like, religious folks. But like Ciara from Atlanta. And I think at a certain point, Atlanta people don't play if you're going to keep messing with their name. And I think Ciara may have said, you know what, you need to go tell that guy to kick rocks. And I think that some of this, because you look at his tweets, Manny was reading his tweets.
I love these tweets.
He read like 10 tweets, and all of them are in one lane. And then there's this random, hey, bounty clown.
Hey, you
remember you? I'm like, whoa, where'd that come from?
15 years later, here you are still bounty hunting. Oh, by the way, I sent this tweet from Mount Sinai Hospital. I was just with the kids, not your foundation.
It's such a departure from like Russell Wilson's social media persona. I'm like, you know what? I think Ciara has something to do with this.
Literally, like, it's him ripping Coach Payton, and then the following tweet is about his day at a pediatric hospital.
Maybe Ciara grabbed the phone, literally grabbed the phone and said and typed it out. That would make that you solved it, EJ.
She's like, how many years was Pontiac to go? 15 years? All right, good. Give me that.
You know how angry you got to be with kids with cancer for this guy to send out a tweet at that time?
Can I name drop a little bit?
He was with kids with cancer.
He's like, hold on, Billy, 1 second. I'll sign that football in just 1 second. Let me just fire off this tweet to Sean Payton and put him on blast.
A little name dropping.
I kind of love it.
Name dropping that you guys will appreciate. That's My Boy was the first movie that Dan Patrick got us to be extras in. It's a funny comedy with Andy Samberg and Sandler. And there was a party at the Super Bowl to celebrate its debut. And there were a lot of famous people in the movie. Will Forte was there. Obviously, Sandler and Andy Samberg. Ciara walks in and the room just stopped, like a needle drop. And because no one knew who she really was. Not a lot of people in our crowd didn't know who she was.
Yeah.
Oh my God, did she stop a room in person?
Yeah, she's literally like a jaw-droppingly beautiful person.
She's jaw-droppingly beautiful.
She's striking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's with Russell Wilson.
Well, I don't know. Russ, I think, doesn't get enough credit.
Right. Maybe you're right.
What?
There's more to Russ than meets the eye, but I also think Russ, good job out of him, at least as far as the public stuff. Like, he's raising a child that she had with a rap star, Fabulous. He adopted him, right? Future, excuse me, not Fabulous. Future, pardon me.
Who is Fabulous.
And
he is.
Spells it differently, but he's raising his kid as his own. I think he did adopt him technically, yes. And like he's being a dad to him. Like It seems like he's a good dude. At least that's what we get. And so I love this calling out Sean Payton out of nowhere.
And does anyone think? I mean, to me, and I've talked about Sean Payton on this show. I'm tired of this guy's act. I'm tired of it. Like, he won one Super Bowl, and great. You brought a Super Bowl to New Orleans. That was special. That's something we'll never forget.
Yeah.
This guy walks around like he invented football. Mm-hmm. And I'm sorry, like, the Denver Broncos aren't that good for him to be talking like this. I mean, Russell Wilson was awful with the Broncos, and he deserved to be gone. But he also propped up Bo Nix as a future MVP. That's your guy. Did he look like a future MVP on Sunday except for one quarter? Did he look like a future MVP for the rest of this season? Like, maybe pipe down on some of this braggadocious talk like you're the Kansas City Chiefs when you haven't accomplished jack in Denver. Enough of Sean Payton, man.
Did make the playoffs his first year.
He could have made the playoffs with Russ the year before he pulled the cord on the season.
Oh, yeah, Russ won 5 in a row. Remember?
Yeah, they won 5 in a row, and they weren't a great team, just like they weren't a great team last year. They weren't a great team, and I get that, and I understand they wanted to move on. But, I mean, my gosh, this guy is living off of something that happened, again, 15 years ago.
Well, the other part, too, you'll remember and recall when he got to Denver, he basically said this was the worst coach team that's ever existed in the NFL. Now, may have been correct because Nathaniel Hackett is a hack, but then walked it back by saying, I had too much coffee that day. I was a little jacked up. The coffee defense, as I always call it.
I'm just annoyed about this guy. Like, we talk about the NFL, and especially head coaches, about, you got to make sure you're not creating distractions. You got to be a pro. And Sean Payton seems to think that those rules don't apply to him. He feels that he can create distractions. He can take shots at people. He can bury guys. And all those things don't matter. There are coaches who have way more success than him that don't do this stuff. Why does he think he can get away with this?
I know why. Who's his mentor?
Bill Parcells.
Yeah, and who did everything you just said. I mean, Parcells won a little more than him, so I guess
Peter King.
I mean, he's a pretty darn good coach about Sean Payton, though. That's one thing. I put that braggadocious stuff to the side. I don't know, because I don't think Denver has a great roster because of Russell Wilson. They are still paying him on the books. And Sean Payton, I kind of disagree on how good a coach he is. I think he's a good coach. Top 5, probably.
I think he's a good coach, Pearl. But look, think about Sean Payton. What is he known for? Offense, I'm sorry.
Yep.
Yeah.
What is this team known for?
Yep.
Defense.
I call that the Brian Billick when you're an offensive coordinator with the best defense.
I mean, he's walking around, he's a genius. Your offense has been mid all season. You went 3 quarters, you couldn't score on the Giants. Like, I mean, what are we doing here?
Easy.
Sean Payton is the kind of guy who, we're talking about Russell Wilson turning heel, and I'm kind of implying that maybe it's an act or, he's trying out a different persona, at least on social media. Sean Payton, I get the sense, is the opposite. I think he's somebody who can't help himself, right? Like, he steps in it.
Yeah.
DJ, like you said, he does create headlines, and his team, presumably will have to answer for it, and that's a distraction. But, like, I get the sense he just can't help himself. Like, he's known as a guy who talks to everybody in the media on and off the record. He's known as this sort of that dude. I just think he needs to be heard at all times, and whatever he's saying, he thinks is the most important thing in the world.
Yeah,
we know people like this. It's a huge ego.
Let's be honest. Jim Harbaugh is doing a similar act. He's saying Justin Herbert is going to reinvent the game of football in L.A., and he talks a big game. I think these older coaches on their second stints, I think Belichick has a massive ego. I think you win a couple rings, or at least one ring, and you get a big ego. Sean Payton, though, I totally understand what you're saying, EJ, and it's a bit obnoxious, but that dude's a pretty good coach. I mean, the Broncos, I'm not sure in the fourth quarter I really want to go against that team. If Sean Payton, mano a mano with another coach, I think he's near the top of the league.
Well, I mean, kind of embarrass himself by getting that personal foul. I mean, the Broncos should have lost that game 100 different ways, and he's out on the field complaining about a pass interference call that I'll agree with him. I thought was really flimsy, but you can't get flagged right there as a head coach.
Made no impact. It went from the 2-yard line to the 1-yard line, and they needed to let the Giants score anyway. That did not cost them the game.
But still.
It actually helped them because then the Giants score on the first play, and they have time to kick the field goal.
Yeah, but it wasn't calculated like that.
I'm saying it just...
it may have worked out,
well, if
it was not calculated.
That would have been brilliant.
You want to put a poll question up? Do you find Sean Payton obnoxious? 888.
I hope Sean doesn't read that because he might be.
How many burner accounts do I have? Yeah. Can I vote yes a million times?
888-710-4ISN. I think Sean Payton would appreciate we're talking about him. 888-710-4477.
A second bullet would be, did Ciara actually write the Russell Wilson, Sean
wrote
Payton
the tweet?
I think that's a yes.
Sierra, Future, Lil Future, other. Maggie Perloff. Okay, we have a lot of fun at Russ's expense here, but we have a lot more to do, including, one team's now getting serious, guys. No more messing around, no more farting around. It's time to lock in.
Finally, thank you, Giants.
It's not the Giants. We'll tell you who it is next. Maggie Perloff.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. 30 seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back. Maggie and Perloff Show. This song is by Future, of course, is Ciara's ex. We're talking about Ciara, who is married to Russell Wilson, who out of nowhere finally fired back at Broncos coach Sean Payton, who was giving him a hard time. Maggie wants this new, hot take, rip guys Russell Wilson. I say that will never, ever, ever happen. Although I admit it would be kind of fun. I was wondering about Russell Wilson. One more thought on him.
Yeah.
Do you think he would ever be a viable backup if he said, I don't want to start, but I'll back up Jalen Hurts in Philly. I'll back up Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City. I'll back up Lamar Jackson in Baltimore, kind of like RG3 backed up him, where he's just an emergency quarterback who doesn't have any realistic chance of getting the starting job, but is a veteran backup because he's not that old. He's only 37.
Yeah, I was looking at that. I'm seeing 36. Oh, he's about to turn 37
Oh, he's right. He turns 37 in November. Yeah.
So, yes, I think he's now going to hang on for a while. I do.
Okay.
I think we're going to get Russ bouncing around different teams. Unless there is some super lucrative media job out there that's kind of tailor-made, I think you're going to still see him out there. And by the way, if he's going to accept a backup role and he's true about that and not trying to come in and all of a sudden be front row at every basketball / hockey / whatever and be like Mr. Man about town, if he really is going to just be the backup and kind of go about his business, I think there'd be tons of teams that would want him to maybe help a rookie quarterback.
I mean, how dumb could you be to give that guy a contract?
Well, I'm just saying a backup contract, I don't know. It looks like Jameis Winston actually is having more of an effect on Jackson Dart than Russell Wilson is. But that's because Jameis is Jameis, but also
big personality. Yeah.
I think because Russ really did think he was a starter. Now, if you come in knowing you're the backup to whoever, the Raiders are going to draft next year or whoever the Miami Dolphins are going to draft next year. Yeah, if Russ is going to commit to the backup role, why not?
He straight up just can't do it anymore.
He can't play the position.
No, he can't play anymore. We see him as a backup right now, and we've seen him multiple times for the Giants come in as an injury replacement for Jackson Dart for a split second, and the offense just completely forgets how to play football.
That was one bad play where he underthrew a guy by about 12 yards. They were totally disorganized.
Okay, and then what about when he was the actual starter, when you have a larger sample size right there? He just can't play football anymore.
Well, I think this is a more interesting question. He's a 10-time Pro Bowler. Is there anything he can do at this age to ruin his Hall of Fame candidacy? That is the big question with Russ. He's, won a Super Bowl, 10 Pro Bowls is rich. And his numbers were really good. Always avoided interceptions. He was the perfect quarterback for that team. I'm pro quarterback. I would put him in first ballot. Now, I don't know what this last 5 years is doing to him.
You should not bring up the interceptions. I know he didn't have a lot in his career, but obviously has one gigantic one.
But he's right there. I mean, him and Rodgers are among the all-time leaders of avoiding interceptions. He was perfect for Seattle. And when he could run, I'm telling you, this guy was a great quarterback.
Can't do that anymore, though.
You don't have to tell me. I was there. I'm all about Russell Wilson. I didn't think that this ruined the Hall of Fame candidacy. I think he's got as good a chance as he ever did. And to be honest, once you get in the media and you start, he's always been good with the media, but if he turns into a talking head, if you will, I think it's only going to help him because he's been going around all these different stadiums and talking to the voters and stuff like that. He'll be fine.
It's kind of funny. When you do become in the media, you have to say something. Drew Brees, his first go-round, didn't say anything. He was at NBC and they let him go. Then he came back to ESPN and had a big hot take last month. What did Drew Brees get in the news for? He ripped somebody to shreds. It was good. I'll find it. But yeah, I mean, you have to say something. I think it's going to be very hard for Russ to make a transition.
I think it was about Jalen Hurts, wasn't it? About the Eagles?
Oh, the Eagles are frauds, right?
Yeah, I think he said something like they're not exciting or the tush push. It was something about your Eagles.
He first said they're the most boring, dominant team, and then he said, I don't think they're that good.
So there's another NFL question. By the way, you can answer our poll question today. Do you consider Sean Payton obnoxious? With all due respect, Coach. Although I think that he would appreciate that poll. 888-710-4ISN. We're channeling our inner Sean Payton when we put that poll up at Maggie and Pearl. Every once in a while we see these stories, and they always make me roll my eyes more than anything that exists in sports. And the Baltimore Ravens, now sitting there at 1-5, Pearl. This is probably the game of the weekend because if they lose this week, that's it. I don't know how you could ever think you'll make a comeback from 1-6 to make the playoffs. Guys, they've removed the ping pong tables from the locker room. No more ping pong. No more video games. No more cornhole.
No
Get
more
your
fun.
head in a playbook. Do we think this is going to work? These things to me are so silly. If you really want to get chemistry and camaraderie in your team, don't take out those things. Tell people they can't be on their cell phone or something. Like, is that really, do you find this effective or do you find it eyewash like I do?
Oh, it's totally eyewash. And it's so funny because I never once thought the Baltimore Ravens would be an undisciplined team. I feel like John Harbaugh has been there forever, and they've always been a great defensive team. They've always maximized their talent, and now they are a awful defensive team who has to win by offense. This is not the Ravens I know. This is not the team that had Tony Siragusa on it way back in the day. This is so shocking. I never thought of them as a bad culture team. I'm really surprised that they had to do anything like this. Locker room. When's the last time we had a major locker room issue with the Ravens?
I know the irony is that one of their all-time franchise players was accused of basically covering up a murder, and that locker room was cohesive.
Yeah, and Lamar Jackson is impossible not to like. I feel like he keeps things running smooth. He's a great leader by everything we've seen.
Boy, that escalated quickly.
But
where's the suit, Ray?
Well, we're not going to relitigate that one. But that being said, the Baltimore Ravens are the team that needs to remove the ping pong table. I feel like that should be the Jets or the Browns.
The Jets and the Browns should throw their ping pong table into the river. I don't know. Maybe it would help, actually.
Set it on fire and put it in the lake next to the stadium.
Or do they need more camaraderie or less? Because, sometimes they say the pool tables and all this stuff, guys, can actually talk to each other. I don't know. This kind of stuff, it does seem a little beneath the Ravens.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good way of putting it. There's a Hard Knocks video one time. Aaron Donald is shirtless and dominating the ping pong table.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you guys ever see that. It's like, oh, my God, why is this gigantic man playing ping pong like a pro?
Yeah, I get why guys like that don't put their shirts on.
Yeah. No, listen to me.
You worked hard for that. Yeah. I get it.
I get compared to that a lot. I mean, I'm required by management to wear a shirt on the show. Otherwise, I would probably do the same thing.
And who is it that tells you this?
There's a guy. I don't remember.
You need to stop talking to people that lie to you.
Yeah.
No, I think what you're forgetting is it was please wear longer pants was the instruction to you about your clothes.
Oh, meanwhile, Halloween's right around the corner.
Oh, yeah.
And we know this is just a holiday that Perloff uses for an excuse to wear either extremely short shorts, skirts. Well, not skirts. What are they called?
Kilts. I wear a kilt with no underwear. Yeah.
Maybe without underwear. Which the fact that we even have to question that means things have gone completely off the rails.
Treats college.
What are you doing here?
Perloff treats Halloween like a college co-ed.
Yeah. I'm going to be a sexy soccer player. No, you're not.
Yeah.
Just
opportunity to show as much skin as possible.
Yeah.
Did you grind last night? I asked my wife, so tell me how fishnet stockings work. Because,
listen, tell her to tell you that because that would help keep things away from my shoulder like the last time.
Bogus. I would just call in sick.
I might. When is it? Next Friday?
Big.
Yeah.
I got a weird
Sounds
situation.
like a plan.
I got a weird situation, too.
My costume came in. Yeah, so did EJ's,
I got 3 costumes.
We're doing the group costume.
I know, but I have to.
One holiday.
I have to veer. I know.
We
My
don't even
daughter
get a
has
day
3.
off for.
No, wait till
I have to
kids
veer
to
for
sing last summer.
hour 3 of the show. I have a separate costume, and I just can't. I have to share it with you guys.
Wait a minute. What happened to the?
I have that
group
too.
Costume.
The group costume is great, but I can't really bother Bogus enough with the group costume.
Oh.
So I have a special surprise.
Something's coming on.
Sounds like TB.
Feels a little feverish.
I can't wait for it to dress up as a 1950s NBA basketball player with the shortest shorts that's ever been, produced.
I think they played in their underpants.
Bob Cousy dribbles to the right. He passes to Mike.
And then the left, and then the right.
Not really to the left. They didn't know how to go left until 1963.
No, I meant something else was bouncing from side to side while he was moving.
That's why Pro the YMCA runs has been doing the micing drill for the last 3 weeks.
Oh, yeah. That's a great idea. Oh, boy. Now I might need a fourth costume.
George Mikan?
I could pull off George Mikan.
I'm actually surprised you've never done it before.
I'm shocked you haven't done it.
Let's get to Bogusch, who's got headlines for us.
These headlines are sponsored by Progressive Commercial Insurance, protecting small businesses with affordable coverage options. Get a quote today at progressivecommercial.com. Imagine being Manny. The Yankees are long gone. The Giants did that on Sunday in Denver. There was the dental work recently, but at least he has the Knicks. Except for Josh Hart and Mitchell Robinson not playing in tonight's season opener with the Cavaliers. Hart has been out for 3 weeks with back spasms. Robinson, left ankle injury management. Mid-season form.
Yeah.
Night one.
Mitchell Robinson.
We just started, guys.
He's good for 25 games a year. You want
playing
those
or
strategic
Maggie
playing.
Perloff is describing LeBron is exactly how I describe Mr. Robinson. The problem is Mr. Robinson is only like 27 years old. So that's an issue, but
they went out to the Middle East and they all came back injured. Like we went to war out there again. Like what the hell, guys?
Desert Storm 3.
Come on.
Jalen Brunson.
Schwarzkopf is coaching the team. Probably better than Tibbs.
It's not ideal, but you know what?
Probably easier to play for than Tibbs.
More involved in his load management.
Less
minutes with Schwarzkopf.
Yeah, he doesn't show Hoosiers before the season starts. He shows Patton, the movie. That's Tibbs.
This guy had wisdom teeth removed.
Oh, Manny.
For the first time since 2005, opening night featured a double overtime game.
Adams giving the ball 2.3 left in the second overtime. Looking, holding. No timeout. Lobbing corner. Smith catching one. Fires at the buzzer. It's up. No good. The Thunder find a way on opening night. Never underestimate the heart of the champion.
Oh, let's get dramatic. Matt Pinto, Thunder Radio. Jabari Smith Jr. missing at the horn, letting OKC escape 125-124 over Houston after one last celebration of that title over the summer. The miss followed 2 free throws from Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He was on the line because of Kevin Durant's 6th foul of the night. KD scored 23 in his Houston debut. Also had 4 turnovers, plus some mental mistakes like that time where he called a timeout that he did not have, but the officials missed it, avoiding the technical foul. The Lakers, meanwhile, remain bad on opening night, 0-1 for the 9th time in 10 years after a 119-109 home loss to the Warriors. Luka Doncic, 43 points, 12 rebounds, and 9 assists in defeat. It's what we all wanted. Carson Wentz getting another start for the Vikings tomorrow night against the Chargers. Wentz is 2-2 so far as the fill-in following Sunday's 6-point loss to the Eagles, which featured 1 touchdown in 6 trips into the red zone.
I don't think we handled it our best down there. Like I said after the game, I thought we've done a pretty good job so far this year up until last game, and hats off to that defense for making it tough. But, yeah, it was nothing earth-shattering. Just, some simple execution could have been better, made a difference in the game, and then the penalties that cost us.
The Vikings put J.J. McCarthy in his ankle through an on-field workout yesterday morning. He was still limited, so that's why Wentz starts again. Alex Ovechkin had an assist in the Capitals' 4-1 win over Seattle. Sidney Crosby scored a goal in the Penguins' 5-1 win over Vancouver. The Dodgers have set up their rotation for the first 2 games of the World Series, Friday and Saturday in Toronto. It'll be Blake Snell, then Yoshinobu Yamamoto. And the long saga of La Liga playing in Miami in December finally has a conclusion. And sadly, the Barcelona-Villarreal game has been called off. It will remain in Spain because of too many complaints about losing the game back home.
It's Villarreal, by the way.
What did I say?
Villa.
Oh, my bad.
There's no 2 L's in Spanish. Manny knows that.
Wow.
I'm also didn't say Barcelona, so.
Just got back from your semester abroad.
I'm inspired by my guy on the left here.
Also, we've heard your English accent, so I don't know if you should be pointing fingers about.
It's fair.
I'm bilingual. I got to use it.
Anyone look up Norman Schwarzkopf and realize that he passed away in 2012?
You thought he was still alive?
I wasn't sure. Maybe rest in peace. I wasn't sure. Bogusch, thank you very much. We've got a lot to do, including one of the most stunning revelations that we have heard in months.
Mitchell Robinson out again.
That's a close second. Maggie Perloff.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. 15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
I believe Manny is playing Prince because he is the most famous musician from the great state of Minnesota.
Oh, yeah.
And obviously the Vikings are interesting. They're playing Thursday Night Football tomorrow. They're going to go to the Chargers. Now, what we find weird about this is where the heck is J.J. McCarthy? So J.J. McCarthy has played a grand total of 2 games this year, okay? He's thrown 41 passes this entire season. He's got 2 touchdowns. He's got 3 interceptions. He's basically played like 1 good quarter of football.
Yeah.
Then he got hurt. So here's
Seems like a long time ago.
It was, because the last time we saw him was on September 14th. So here is Kevin O'Connell, his head coach. Manny, can I hear cut 9, please, explaining where he feels J.J. McCarthy is falling short when it comes to his health and his ankle.
Some of the movements the reactionary movements within the pocket, being able to use his athleticism to protect himself in the pocket, and then as he's able to work through progressions, I feel really good about the work we've done on the foundation of his fundamentals. That's been pretty evident through the work that he's done, and he's really the commitment to doing that.
Okay. Cool. Everyone should be working on their fundamentals all the time, right?
Yeah.
Even the veterans have to work on fundamentals. That's why they're called fundamentals. But I thought this was an ankle sprain, and that the reason why he's being held out is because the ankle is bummed, not because they also needed this time for fundamentals. Now, why I think this is interesting is because you and I see this very differently.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Carson Wentz did very well last week against the Eagles. I thought that he missed a ton of throws. I was not impressed. And now the Vikings are 3-3. They're in last place in the NFC North. This is a team that was, a 14-win team last year, had everything going for it. And this quarterback situation, I feel like, is really threatening to derail the entire season. And quite frankly, the whole reason why you're here with J.J. McCarthy is because you passed on Aaron Rodgers and you passed on these other guys who could have come in and helped you win immediately. Don't you have to go back to McCarthy?
Okay. They signed Carson Wentz on August 24th. He had no camp with him, and he's throwing for 300 yards a game. That's not impressive to you? This guy came out of nowhere. He is better than J.J. McCarthy right now. J.J. McCarthy's 22 years old. You know that Carson Wentz can move the ball more than him. I mean, Carson Wentz, for some flaws that game, he was getting battered by the pass rush, but he threw for 313 yards. He was hitting Jordan Addison left and right again. He can make that throw to the outside that I don't think J.J. McCarthy can make on a consistent basis. He could do things with that offense that J.J. McCarthy just can't. Now, is he perfect? No, but he's not. He's a good backup. And at the point where I've always wondered about Carson Wentz, like it must be an attitude thing. He clearly should be playing somewhere in the NFL. We see some.
He's got 2 of the best receivers in the league. Like, you should be able to pass for 313 yards. And by the way,
no one's coming in there and doing that.
Didn't pass for any touchdowns. When it actually mattered, in the red zone, they were terrible. He threw 2 picks in that game and then got scared to throw another interception. So maybe the total number of yards is gaudy, but I didn't really love what I saw when it mattered, when the game was on the line, and when they had to come from behind to beat your team.
That line stinks. And he, last week they played Cleveland. That line was, and he just sat there, took punishment, and made some play. He made plays against the Eagles. He put a scare. That looked like an easy win for Philadelphia, and he put a scare into them because he was effective. I think the bar, are we getting 2018 Carson Wentz? No. But I'm telling you, what we have now is better than J.J. McCarthy. That's just a fact. You think J.J. McCarthy could have stood up to the Eagles? That would have been a debacle. He would have thrown picks all over the place.
Okay, but here's the thing. The Vikings rolled with McCarthy for a reason, right? Again, this was one of the prime offseason openings, if it was ever open, for a quarterback. This is why we thought maybe Sam Darnold would get re-signed. This is why Aaron Rodgers was holding out, we think, for even a sniff from Kevin O'Connell. And so the fact of the matter is this was like a decision that was made by the franchise, we're going to roll with McCarthy. And I just find it hard to believe that an ankle sprain is keeping him out for this long, considering what we see quarterbacks play through. And I get it. They don't want a setback, and he's had other injuries and stuff like that. But I think that this is also because they're trying to work on the fundamentals. You got to get him out there and play. I don't know. He had all of last year to sit and watch and learn. At this point, isn't it about reps, Pearl?
Are you saying that they got to put them out there to play, even if it costs them wins this season? Is that what you're saying?
Well, it's not like you're any great shakes here with Wentz. You're in last place in the division. If Wentz came in and he was lighting it up and all of a sudden you're on a 4-game winning streak and it's this, that, and the other, but you're alternating wins and losses here. You're
against the defending champion Eagles, and, he's
lost
2
to
and
Pittsburgh.
2. Yeah, he had a good game, though. I mean, I don't know. I think you have to do what's best for your team in the short term. And to me, it's obvious that Carson Wentz is running that offense better than J.J. McCarthy. You think J.J. McCarthy is going to take full advantage of Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison? We've never seen J.J. McCarthy throw anywhere near the volume of passes that they need to take advantage of Justin Jefferson. And no offense to J.J. McCarthy, he doesn't have Carson Wentz's physical traits. He doesn't.
But here's the thing. You may know that, and I may have thought that, but you want to know who didn't think that? Kevin O'Connell and the Vikings,
but then he saw
thought of as a genius offensive guy and quarterback whisperer.
Right, and he is. But Kevin O'Connell obviously saw 2 games of McCarthy and has seen 4 games of Wentz, and I can understand why he's hesitant to put McCarthy back in. You think he doesn't want to do what's best for the team in the immediate future?
Okay, well then call it like it is then. They screwed up.
But that's irrelevant to week 8 in the NFL. Who cares what they did? He's got to focus only on this Sunday.
See, I think when you're dealing with a quarterback in his second year and you made the decision that you made, A, to draft him as high as you did, and B, to roll with him this year, I get what you're saying. Is it about the immediate future or is it about his development? This is always something we talk about in the NFL, and it didn't make sense that a team that was so ready to win decided, all right, we're going to back this thing up and go with a second-year guy who's totally unproven.
In your model, the San Francisco 49ers would have gone to Trey Lance, back to Trey Lance, because they invested a number 3 overall pick in him over Brock Purdy. Smart teams just do what's best for the team, regardless of their past decisions. We've seen a lot. And listen, the Niners might make that decision again. They paid $50 million to Brock Purdy. They might say, well, Mac Jones is running the offense better now. It's happened. Listen, the New England Patriots had Drew Bledsoe, Pro Bowl quarterback, total stud, and they made the decision to go with Tom Brady. Sometimes things change.
That's a rich example, dude. I mean, if Carson Wentz somehow ends up winning the Super Bowl this year, it would be nothing like Tom Brady in that situation, not even close. And to be honest, I don't even think that the Brock Purdy example even fits.
That reminds me a little bit of it. Because Brock Purdy, obviously, they could have gone back to Trey Lance many times, but they gave up pretty quickly on him.
Well, I think Trey was also, forgive me, it's easy for me from the couch to be like, you're not that hurt, get in there. But don't you just find it a little strange that an ankle sprain keeps you out 4 weeks? I think Trey Lance's injuries really were keeping him out.
Yeah.
A lot longer.
I just think that Vikings right now, the Carson Wentz I've seen is better than the J.J. McCarthy I saw. I thought Wentz made a couple throws. Like, whoa, why didn't he do that? Back in his last year with the Eagles, he wasn't making that throw. Yes, he was totally bad in the red zone and made a couple key mistakes early. He was getting battered and bruised. He had no time, stood in there, took the hit. And he's a backup, Maggie. Like, he's a very, very high-end backup. You can't just bring in anybody and throw for 300 yards against the Eagles.
I don't know. With Kevin O'Connell, I feel like I've seen Josh Dobbs do it. I feel like I've seen any of these variety of backups come in and have success. Like, I don't know if this is really some Wentz magic here. I just think it's an interesting thing to monitor because let's also look at what else is going on. Not that this is maybe top of mind for the Vikings, but look at the other quarterbacks in that class. Drake May, MVP candidate. Jane Daniels was the rookie of the year all time, right? Now things aren't going great. Caleb seems like maybe he's figuring things out with Ben Johnson. Michael Penix just had a signature win over Buffalo, even if they stumbled last week against the 49ers. Bo Nix coach is talking him up. He's a future MVP. Didn't play that great, but ends up winning this weird game against the Giants. Like, you have all those other quarterbacks in this class who are, like, on their way. Like, the boat's in the water here, and J.J. McCarthy is definitely the last of the bunch.
But if you're Kevin O'Connell and you're trying to beat the Chargers, what do you care about what Drake May is doing?
I'm just saying that's something I noticed. Let's go to Nate, who's in Iowa, a big Vikings fan. Nate, what do you think's going on with J.J. McCarthy?
I don't think JJ's the problem. When you guys roll out an offensive line that the Vikings had earlier this year that had Ryan Kelly that's now out for the remainder of the year with 2 concussions, Will Fries coming off a fractured leg last year, you had Christian Darrisaw last year coming off a full knee tear, Brian O'Neill that had injury problems as well. I mean, we're still touting Caleb Williams as this, prototypical generational talent, and yet he had offensive line issues last year too. JJ has some, granted, he's came out the first 2 games of the year. I was at the Atlanta game, and it didn't look good, but the kid was running for his life, and it's been a recurring theme for the Vikings, even going back to the Rick Spielman days. This team cannot get the offensive line correct. Kirk Cousins was running for his life.
Okay, so Nate, you want to keep JJ on the bench then. Don't want to sacrifice him is what you're saying.
I'd like to see the kid get a chance, but if anyone else had a high ankle sprain, it's hard enough to walk with one, let alone play football with it.
Nate, I understand it. I think that even high ankle sprains, we see quarterbacks play through this stuff when the team really wants them out there.
That's a great point, though, about that O-line. That is a major concern. It was at the end of last year, too.
888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. Should the Vikings roll J.J. McCarthy back out there? Coming up, it's Wednesday, which means the great debate. Sit tight.
You're in a 5-minute break. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 2 minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Can't tell if Jerry's bluffing again. Jerry Jones, that is. Welcome to the show. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. The Cowboys are so good at getting the hopes up of their fan base. I think that's why the Micah Parsons trade was so shocking, even though it had been a will they, won't they all offseason. But then when they actually pulled the trigger, and to the Packers nonetheless, I think it was quite surprising because it always sort of felt like a bluff. Now we get some news that the Cowboys are making calls about Max Crosby, right?
Yep.
Maybe some other pass rushers, because it turns out the Cowboys' offense is gangbusters. We saw what happened when CeeDee Lamb is now paired up with George Pickens, and Dak Prescott's playing well, and Javonte Williams is running the ball well, and the offensive line, and Ferguson, and and it looks great, and the metrics are even better. And now they're flirting with the idea of trading for somebody. But I can't tell if this is classic Jerry, and that the fan base doesn't want to get reeled in here. Oh, we're going to land the guy of all of our hopes and dreams who's going to stop the run. Meanwhile, and rush the passer. You had a guy who could rush the passer. You got him out of town. But now I can't tell the seriousness that the Cowboys are approaching this trade deadline with.
I mean, nobody trips into great players like Jerry Jones. He kind of tripped into Micah Parsons, who fell in the draft for complicated reasons. Partly his outsized personality. But all of a sudden, he finds George Pickens, who is a true number one. They have two true number one wide receivers. And let's not forget running back Javonte Williams. They look like the triplets again. He has been amazing. What a find.
Yep.
And he got healthy again. So they do have this offense. I think that the formula is different now, 7 weeks in the season than it was preseason. I think they should go for a pass rusher. They should go for something on defense because they're going to get tested. It's been their offense has been fine, but the second half of the season, you got the Chiefs, you got the Lions, you have more Eagles. Like you need somebody like Max Crosby. I understand this is not happening, but I really like the sentiment from Dallas. And I don't think this is just Jerry Bluster. I think he would do this kind of move.
One thing that makes me think they might actually be all in. Remember, we heard that forever.
All
oh, my gosh.
in.
But anyway, that's like bringing back nightmares. Yeah. But one thing that does make me think that it's possible that they're not bluffing here is the moment they traded away Parsons. Let's remember this, right? Right before the season, they talked about flipping those picks that they got immediately. They talked up Kenny Clark, who came from the Packers, but they talked about those, hey, we might not be done making moves. And again, I'm like, this is just the Cowboys doing that thing to their fan base that feels like it should be kind of criminal. But instead, maybe they do have these picks kind of burning a hole in their pocket and thinking, all right, this offense is really great. Brian Schottenheimer doesn't look like a total disaster, and maybe we can move forward here. Now, the next 2 games before the trade deadline, you're at Denver this Sunday, and then you're playing Monday night against Arizona. That's November 3rd. The trade deadline is literally the next day. So do they have to be, 5-3-1 would be their record. They're 3-3-1 right now. Do they have to win these next 2 games, you think? Will that determine whether or not they get serious?
I would hope so if they're reasonable. Yes. I think a split and a trade is on the table. Okay. If they win at Denver, then I think you're going to really ramp up the trade talk. Arizona is a sneaky good team despite their record. That's going to be a very hard game. If they win 2 games, then all in. If they split, then I think they have to be
all in,
somewhat reasonable. Don't sell the farm for a pass rusher, but do make a move. I mean, there's got to be a gray area between Max Crosby and someone like Zadarius Smith, who the Eagles signed and then is out of the league.
Yeah, he retired.
Just walked away. But they definitely, obviously, are going to need help on defense because they are. We'll see if guys get healthy. They're thin on their defensive line. Their pass rushers are Sam Williams, who's really a linebacker, and I think Dante Fowler. So they definitely need that piece. I think they're going to end up going for it. I'm optimistic about the Cowboys because Dak Prescott wins games. When he's on, Maggie, the reality is I know he gets paid too much. That guy just wins at a high level in the regular season. Playoffs, different.
Shame they dropped that game in Carolina. Because then you really would have had something here. You would have been coming off of that tie against the Packers, which kind of weirdly felt like a win for the Cowboys. And then you would have beaten the New York Jets if they had just avoided the slip up at Carolina. And then you had a great game against the Commanders where you knocked Jaden Daniels out of the game.
But when you saw Pickens and Lamb come out together against the Commanders, that's what has to get you excited. Once we didn't know if the two of them could play well together, and they sure figured it out. And also, let's talk about Javonte Williams. Oh, my God. He's running over people left and right. Jerry I'm sure the excitement level is beyond. Because even when they're not good, he talks a big game.
Do you believe, Jerry, that they are in the market for some defensive help? 888-710-4ISN.
All in.
And would you trade 2 first-round picks for Max Crosby?
Can we talk about one brilliant move by a Cowboy, by the way, that I think we missed a little bit? Jake Ferguson, the tight end, wore a Dak Prescott jersey into the stadium and made sure Dak saw it. And then Dak threw him 2 touchdown passes.
It's like kissing up to the boss.
Oh, he kissed up to Dak so bad, and then he was the main target in the red zone. I thought it was one of the brilliant moves. I let Jake Ferguson decide whether to do this or not. It was a cool press. I think it was a Dak Prescott rookie jersey or something, and he found his man Jake. Oh, it was a high school jersey, right? Yeah. And Dak was like, "Oh, that's cute," and then he threw him the ball. That's a brilliant move by a receiver.
George Pickens taking notes right now.
I was going to say, with CeeDee Lamb back, Jake Ferguson realizes those targets are going to be hard to come by.
Yeah.
Anyone want donuts? Anybody? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. He's coming in. He's like Mr. Team bonding guy.
Or does he have to wash Dak Prescott's car next week? Is Dak going to take full advantage?
Is he dating someone famous? A Cavender?
Oh yeah.
Who?
Jake Ferguson.
Yes.
One of the twins.
Yes.
One of the twins. Okay. 888-710-4ISN. It is Wednesday at this time, which means the Great Debate.
The Great Debate Series.
All right, bro. A lot of conversation last week or so. One, Shohei Ohtani, amazing performance, 6 shutout innings, the 10 Ks, the 3 home runs. Then George Springer with an unreal moment for Toronto, launches them into the World Series against the Dodgers with the 3-run home run. Got us thinking about stuff.
Yeah.
And you know this Great Debate is also always loosely based on the news. So today's question is, what is the greatest single playoff game performance? Individual performance in a playoff game, any sport, anytime, ever.
The big umbrella, because there's hundreds of years of sports. Can I get us started?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think to answer this question correctly, you need a story. It can't just be a stat line. And there's no better story than the flu game.
The story concerning Michael Jordan's physical conditions. He is suffering from flu-like symptoms. And Jordan puts moves on Hornacek. Michael Jordan is back, putting the move on Chris Mars.
Michael Jordan, and then the total exhaustion on the bench.
10 on the shot clock. Pippen backing Hornacek. Here's Jordan. Yes! Michael Jordan from straight away. A courageous, classic performance by the flu-ridden Michael Jordan.
Was I influenced by NBA being back on NBC last night? Perhaps. But that doesn't make it any less amazing. He played 44 minutes with the flu, maybe food poisoning, as we found out later. 38 points. It was a critical game. It was 2-2. The Jazz were loaded that year. It felt like the Jazz, it was their year. Michael Jordan had to play that game, or the Bulls probably don't win that series. Incredible, heroic. Probably gets overstated. It's mythical, but it's still 38 points against a very good team. There are many Michael Jordan games to choose from. To me, that is the greatest playoff performance I've ever seen.
It's a good one. Also, the food poisoning. Yuck.
Well, was it,
Yeah,
something. Was it a pizza delivery guy who dosed the pizza?
Somebody tried to kill Michael Jordan in Salt Lake City.
Yep. I mean, Maggie, you like some random sports conspiracy theories. That one's up there.
I'm all in on that one. I totally believe it, although it's got a couple holes in it.
Fun fact, Delta Center is named as Delta Center again.
Oh, that's good.
There you go.
What is the single greatest playoff performance, the greatest individual performance in a playoff game? That's today's great debate. For me, I went to college football. Where? The Rose Bowl. Why? Vince Young doing amazing things.
4th and 5, the national championship on the line right here. He's going for the corner. He's got it. Vince Young scores.
Amazing. And you're right, Pearl. To be an all-time individual performance, it can't just be about the stat line. The fact of the matter is Vince Young has the gaudy stats, which I'll go through in a second, but he's facing a USC team that's got 2 Heisman Trophy winners on the field. And not only that, they go down by 12 points with under 7 minutes left to go. This was the Vince Young show. 267 yards passing, 200 yards rushing. On the last 2 drives, he ran or passed for all 125 yards. The 4th and 5 will live forever, plus the 2-point conversion. It was the greatest single effort. They say football is a team sport. For that game and at that moment, it was not a team sport. It was Vince Young winning the Rose Bowl for Texas.
It's one of my favorites.
Today's great debate.
I love
yes.
Vince Young.
I know. Well, how do you not after that? It was the greatest, in my opinion, the greatest single playoff performance of all time, and that's the great debate. EJ, go ahead.
All right. It was one glorious spring evening in 1970 when, yes, Willis Reed did come out of the tunnel. Yes, Willis Reed did come out of the tunnel, which was great for the New York Knicks, but it was one Walt Clyde Frazier who really stole the show.
Top of the key. Loses to Frazier. Racing ahead of the field. Frazier made the steal. Frazier out of the back court. And Walt looking very cool. Running one-hander. It's good.
Stolen by Frazier. Down the lane with the floater, but it's good. West across the midcourt, loses to Frazier. Drives ahead of the field, down the lane. Layup is good. The New York Knickerbockers have won the 1969-70 World Championship of Basketball.
I mean, you want to talk about putting your team in your back. You're playing against Jerry West, Gail Goodrich, Will Chamberlain. Elgin Baylor, some of the greatest players of all time. And your captain, Willis Reed, is out there hobbling on one leg. And the point guard for the New York Knicks, Walt Clyde Frazier, 36 points, 19 assists, an NBA Game 7 Finals record, 7 rebounds and 5 steals, unofficial at that time because steals weren't a stat. But he was absolutely all over the place, put the team absolutely on his back. Walt Clyde Frazier, to me, greatest playoff performance of all time.
It's funny because it's called the Willis Reed game.
Yeah.
And it's because, it's the famous Reed coming out, hobbling. We call anytime a player comes back now from an injury, we call it the Willis Reed moment, but it was Walt Clyde Frazier who brought it home.
We talk about these great debates in the hall before the show and after, and EJ, you said the Clyde game. I'm like, Clyde Drexler? I mean, he was good in the playoffs. I was like, I think we're going to crush EJ on this one. That's good. Less competition for yeah, now it's a good one. I was like, Clyde Drexler was great. Don't get me wrong, but I don't remember one iconic game. Career high 42 points against the Lakers, 1992. Looked it up.
Oh, wow. Nice. There is a Clyde Drexler game. Who knew? But EJ is going to with the Walt Clyde Frazier game 7. All right, Manny, we're asking for the greatest individual playoff performance of all time. Who is it?
I did some research on this, went into my encyclopedia online, Wikipedia. Thank you very much. Have you guys ever heard of this guy? He used to play for the Chicago Bulls, named Michael Jordan.
Ainge guarding Michael Jordan. Jordan goes up with a shot and hits it and has 61 points to tie Elgin Baylor's all-time single-game playoff record. Jordan with 8 on the clock. Jordan ties the game.
Oh, boy.
63 points, and you're looking at an all-time record.
Oh, boy.
Michael Jordan.
That was a fantastic move.
Yeah, according to my research, this Michael Jordan guy in, 1985? 1986 playoffs, he went ahead and scored 63 points, which still is a NBA playoff record. This play obviously still rather new in our memory because Bogish had it as one of his answers last week. But yeah, I mean, dude scored 63 points on over 50% shooting, was a menace at the free throw line, didn't shoot a three-pointer because it's the 1980s. 63 points from Michael Jordan, that round 1 loss to the Boston Celtics.
Yeah, Bogish, you had that last week in the best performance in a loss because we were talking about the A6-2 double play by the Brewers. That was last week's great debate.
We're going to have 2 Jordans in this?
Listen, the news cycle moves on fast, bro.
You've heard of him?
Okay, so we actually have some current Michael Jordan for you later in the show. He did an interview last night with Mike Tirico as part of the NBC coverage, and he told a lot of lies in that interview, and we thought they were funny. Allegedly. Okay, today's great debate. The greatest single playoff performance of all time. Bogues, what do you got?
My nomination literally has the word perfect in the description.
Well, all right. Let's all take a deep breath as we go to the most dramatic 9th inning in the history of baseball. Got him! The greatest game ever pitched. Baseball history by Don Larson. A no-hitter, a perfect game in a World Series.
I'm pretty sure that Michael Jordan guy missed a few shots, but on October 8th, 1956, Game 5 of the World Series between the Yankees and the Brooklyn Dodgers, Don Larson was perfect. 27 up and 27 down. The first perfect game in postseason history. I didn't realize this. It came 3 days after he got lit up in Game 2. Didn't survive the second inning. Came back and was perfect.
Was that Mel Allen on the call?
Yankees,
I don't know if it's Mel Allen
Red Barber
or Vin Scully. Like, they all were floating around that time.
I tell you what, it was a perfect game by Don Larson.
All Fordham grads, right? Just like Bogish.
Vin definitely was.
Vin was.
Yes.
No,
Mel
Mel
Allen
Allen's
was
from the
that?
South.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense.
But
Not part of the Ramley.
For some reason, that voice makes it more...
He's the dad.
That makes it more historic and awesome,
right?
Hearing that call.
Well, a little bit of peaking there, a little over-modulation, but whatever.
Yeah, whoever was working the board that day.
MLB.com. Feel free to send an email if they didn't mix that correctly for you.
I'll have a talk with Greg Caserta.
Yeah. How do you know you're a radio nerd? Just like, he peaked a little on that final out. Okay, there you go. The greatest individual playoff performance of all time. That's the great debate. Call us up, 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. You can also leave your responses in our chat, youtube.com/InfinitySportsNet, twitch.tv/InfinitySportsNetwork. And we appreciate everyone checking in. You can also follow the show live on X at Maggie Gray. So there we go. We mentioned it. Some current Michael Jordan also floating around today. We'll tell you what he had to say next.
All right, Maggie, it is the best time of year. There's so many sports going on now that NBA is back, and the best place to enjoy is Prize Picks. On Prize Picks, whether you're a football fan or basketball fan, it's always good to be right. Right now, new users get $50 in bonus credit instantly in lineups when you play your first $5. So simple to use. You just pick 2 or more players, pick more or less on their stat projection, anything from touchdowns to threes. And if you're right, you could win big. By the way, there is a fun one tonight. LaMelo Ball, 22.5 points. Charlotte against Brooklyn. If you weren't going to watch the Hornets Nets, jump in on Prize Picks, and that's an excuse to do it.
I'm telling you, that game just got infinitely more interesting, and that's the beauty of Prize Picks. It does make everything just a little bit sweeter and more fun. We're obsessed with it around here. You can tell it's the first thing we talk about when we get into the office and the last thing we talk about before we leave. Play along with us. How do you know Prize Picks is in your area? Well, it's available in 40-plus states, including California, Texas, Florida, and Georgia. And it's easy. Just download the Prize Picks app today. Use the code M&P to get $50 bonus credit in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code M&P to get $50 bonus credit in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It is good to be right. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
Mand P.
You're in a 4-minute break. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. 15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
We've had a million nights just like this. So let's get down to business.
Welcome back, Maggie and Perloff Show. Great debate Wednesday, and we got a good one today. I don't know if we mentioned the news hook. Great debate. We try and keep it loosely affiliated with the news. Was Shohei Ohtani's 3-home run, 10 strikeout game the greatest playoff performance of all time? Well, we're going back into history for the great debate and nominating our best single playoff performances. I went with the flu game, Michael Jordan, obviously. Maggie?
I went with Vince Young in the Rose Bowl. Texas beats USC. EJ?
Well, Clyde Frazier, 36 points and 19 assists against the Lakers in Game 7, 1970.
His airness, 63 points.
Don Larson, World Series perfect game.
All right, let's go to you. How about Ty in Boise? Ty, you're up first here. What's the greatest individual playoff performance ever?
Well, to answer your question, it definitely, hands down, is Shohei, and that's not because I'm a Dodgers honk. So I'll start off with the Dodgers honkness. Freddie Freeman last year, Game 1, and then I got a second one real quick. Steph Curry in the Olympics just going out of his mind to take over the game.
We have sound of that. Go ahead.
Back to Curry. Dancing on Batum. Over the double team. Oh! It's a golden dagger! Night!
Steph Curry with the ball. He goes to the right. He goes to the right. He throws to KD. KD got the ball. He throws back to Steph. Steph got the ball behind the back. Oh, no. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Okay, I'm just going to spare everybody because I've been working with Perloff now for a while, and I know what you're going to say.
Olympics.
Yeah, I knew it. Olympics,
exhibition.
Stakes aren't high enough.
I mean,
for this to count as the greatest postseason performance ever.
He didn't knock out the Russians, Maggie.
No, it was the French.
Yeah, I mean, come on, we're America. We shouldn't even need Steph Curry to save our butts in basketball.
It was the French, right? The Serbians, I think they beat earlier.
Correct.
In the Olympics.
Timelining.
Yeah, to me, I mean, the single greatest Olympic performance will always be Vince Carter jumping over Frederick Weiss.
Like,
I don't even know who won that game. It doesn't matter.
Medal round?
It doesn't matter. Just that it went through his brain. Hey, what if I just jump over the 7-foot guy? Anyway.
We also have a little Freddie Freeman Game 1 last year's World Series.
Cortez delivers. Freeman hits the ball to right field. She is gone! Gibby, meet Freddie. Game 1 of the World Series.
Thank you to Fox for that one. See, I like Joe Davis. I think he's got a knack for the moment. And I loved that call, and it leads us into another as we're talking about what is the greatest individual playoff performance of all time. How about our pal Big Dave in Kentucky? Big Dave, how you living?
I can't believe what I just saw. I can't believe what I just saw. The great Kirk Gibson, World Series 1988. Home run with a bone sticking out of his leg. How you guys doing?
Dave, we're doing awesome. Let's hear Kirk Gibson.
We have a big 3-2 pitch coming here from Eckersley. Gibson swings and a fly ball to deep right field. This is going to be a home run. Unbelievable! A home run for Gibson. And the Dodgers have won the game 5-4. I don't believe what I just saw. I don't believe what I just saw.
All-time call. Dave, how's it hanging, man?
Hey, it's good. It's good. You guys good? I listen in from time to time, but life gets in the way and just living life, doing well.
Dave, you were a warden and worked in the prison system for a long time. You let us know. What'd you think about that heist, that jewel theft at the Louvre? Did you hear about that one, that fancy museum in Paris?
Yeah, apparently these, high-dollar heists are a lot easier than we all thought that they were. I mean, that's like the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard of in my life. I mean, it's just, it almost, it's almost too ridiculous to believe. I mean, it's almost like, the cynical conspiracy type person just wants to think, man, there's something going on there that doesn't add up. So yeah, that's one of the most bizarre. That is the world we live in. I mean, the bizarre is just, you see it on a daily basis.
Dave, truer words never spoken, man. Thanks so much for joining us. Thanks for calling. Glad to hear things are well. And of course, Dave would think it's an inside job. He's been working in the system.
I got a detail that I found out yesterday. They pretended to be construction workers. So when they walked in with saws, everyone was like, oh, they're resetting the case.
It's like the oldest trick in the book. How did anyone fall for that?
I don't know. I would have fallen for it.
Janitors?
Somebody walks into our building and says, I'm here to fix something. Do you stop them and say, well, let me see your blueprints?
No. Bogish does, though. Bogish, like, I need to see some identification.
Please, narc.
Let's go to Mike, who's in Syracuse. Mike, the greatest individual playoff performance of all time. What was it?
1996 Stanley Cup Finals, Game 4 goes into 3 overtimes as a 0-0 score. Patrick Roy came up with 63 saves in a shutout to claim the cup that year.
All-time moment.
Much to my chagrin.
Yeah. Why, are you a Panther fan?
I am a Panther fan.
All right. Mike, thank you for that one.
I'm living large so far.
Yeah, things have turned around for your Ice Cats. Thank you very much, Mike. Appreciate that. Yeah, that was all-time. People remember that Avs Stanley Cup.
Oh, yeah.
It's just for a variety of reasons, including Patrick Waugh.
I feel like we have 2 Jordans on this great debate. Is there
the same guy I meant to ask?
But yeah, it wasn't Brian Jordan.
Oh, okay.
It was Michael Jordan, the guard for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
I think because Manny was like, this guy Michael Jordan, and you had just said a guy named Michael Jordan, so I was confused
I think
as
the
to
guy
why.
he chose is the actor.
Oh,
Michael B.
Jordan. Okay.
Yeah, apparently that's a person as well.
Yes.
That's so funny you brought up the Bucks Michael Jordan because the announcers were talking about him on Monday night. I'm like, there's another player with a famous name.
Man. Okay, keep them coming, guys. The greatest individual playoff performances of all time. Sorry, I started. Remember all-time great goalie name? John Van Beesbrook.
Oh, yeah. The Beezer?
Goalies have the best names.
I think they're going to take John Sebastian Jaguar.
Oh, great name.
Jiggy.
Well, we were talking about
Bobrovsky. So cool.
Names that screw up news announcers.
Ryan Miller.
The first one is Hobby Boolin is the one that causes all these problems.
You need the extra couple copies on
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a DP thing that just started to have so much fun with those names because they're impossible.
Let's get to Andrew Bogish, who's got all the latest headlines.
Well, there might not be crying in baseball, but there is in hockey, especially when you're back in the city where you played your first 16 seasons winning a Stanley Cup. Brad Marchand returning to Boston last night, brought to tears by the tribute video that played during the first period.
I knew it was going to hit me the way it did. It was extremely touching. I'm so grateful for the moment and very appreciative for it.
Marchand had 2 assists in the game, but not the game-winning goal.
Forsling, outlet, Bennett, right side room, top of the right circle, pulls up in front for Hagee, shot, he rang it off the post, bouncer, and they score! They score! It went off the post. It looked like it went off a Bruin and in, and the Panthers have taken a 4-3 lead with 25.7 seconds to play.
Carter Verhaeghe credited with the game-winning goal late in regulation, right after the Bruins tied the game with an extra skater. So Marchand and Florida got the win on the emotional night 4-3.
I mean, how much ammo did Biz get last night from Marchand? I mean, my God, I can't wait for the next time that Bissonnette has to interview Marchand. Oh, bro, your tears were larger than your nose, bro.
Paul Bissonnette's got away. I was thinking about this last night about Boston because a lot of people were very touched by that Marchand tribute. And I was thinking Boston as a sports city, like they do anger probably as good as any sports city. Like Boston, New York, Philadelphia are probably the angriest cities just generally because, hang out there a little.
Yep.
But nobody does anger like Boston, but I kind of think no one does sentimentality like Boston also. Yeah. There's kind of this...
because they're soft.
And there's the New Yorker. I'm surprised Perloff didn't say that, actually, as a Philadelphia person.
Yeah. They are so emotional. I mean, you ever watch one of those Cam Neely Cancer Foundation things? It is like... oh, my God. There are hugs and tears all over the place.
Yeah, it's just like no one does shouting and crying like Boston does.
Yeah.
But let's not lose sight of the fact that the guy who just called Boston soft will soon be in a 36-hour black hole because the Knicks lost to the Hawks on a November night.
What makes you think they're going to lose?
They're not going to
The
lose
Hawks.
the Hawks this season. Come on.
All right, what else you got?
Trae Young have a contract yet?
Free basketball on NBA opening night. The Thunder and Rockets going to double overtime after OKC got their rings and raised their championship banner. The 125-124 win looked like game one of a new season, says Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Mess-ups and the scripts and the mistakes always hurt more than a loss, so we have to be humble enough to realize we need to get better, even though we still won. It was ugly tonight, but I'd rather be ugly in a win than a loss for sure.
SGA scored 30 of his 35 points after halftime, including the deciding free throws with 2.3 seconds left, courtesy of Kevin Durant fouling out. He had 23 in his Rockets debut. On his first opening night as a Laker, Luka posted 43 points, 12 rebounds, and 9 assists. But LA lost at home 119-109 to the Warriors. Jimmy Butler led Golden State with 31, 23 from Steph, and 17 from Jonathan Kuminga. As he should, Raiders receiver Jacoby Myers said yesterday he, quote, for sure still wants to be traded. This dates back to the summer, with Myers looking for a new contract. Texans head coach DeMeco Ryans said yesterday OC Nick Caley is safe despite his unit's continued struggles. The Houston offense, in terms of points per game and yards per game, worse this season than last season, which is why they fired Bobby Slowick. So they've gotten worse after the change. But Nick Caley is good for now.
That I am so disappointed that C.J. Stroud is not getting more of an opportunity to be great, because he's supposed to be in the conversation as one of the top quarterbacks, and he has no prayer with that O-line and that blocking scheme.
No, the O-line, the scheme, everything's bad. And what's funny, do you remember the conversation around C.J. Stroud when he was getting drafted was like he was not a good processor, right? Like
there were some people who said that.
There were some people who said that, and you thought maybe he was going to fall. Obviously, he did not. He went second overall. And the people who were critical of him got lambasted because of how good he was in his rookie season. Lambasted? Did I say that wrong?
No.
Anyway.
But wait, you're saying that he's showing signs that he's not a good processor now? How do you process in 1 second when the guy's about to tackle you?
Well, that's what I'm saying. You got to get the ball out. We're going to talk about the Packers at the top of the hour with Bill Michaels, who's been covering the team for a long, long time. What is, despite some issues that people might have with the Packers offense, getting the ball out on time has not been an issue. Jordan Love gets that thing out in like a millisecond.
I don't know. There was a screen pass, a design screenplay where the rush almost got to C.J. Stroud, even though he was just thrown to the running. The running back didn't even have time to get out to the. He didn't have time to get out to the flat. The pass rush was on him. I don't see it that way at all. And I mean, you have less than no running game. Every run play is potentially negative in Houston. He's always in 3rd and 9. Everyone always knows, hey, let's tee off. They can't run the ball. No, I don't see it that way. It's not on C.J. Stroud.
Last thing from me, Tom Izzo is mad at the NCAA. The end of that line's about 6 miles back, bud. The Michigan State head coach, confused and frustrated by the NCAA recently letting 2 former G League players play in college, which is definitely not how the rules used to work. What I appreciate about this is Izzo saying we talk too much about what the athletes are doing in terms of transferring, changing schools, when it's the guys in power who keep doing the really dumb, inconsistent stuff like this.
Well,
so you can play in the G League now and go back to college?
Apparently.
I missed that memo.
Yeah, I don't know a lot about these 2 individual guys, like what their argument was, but they got paychecks in the G League. It didn't work out, and now one's going to Louisville for this year, another guy's going to Santa Clara. And
is it really about education, though, Andrew?
Yeah,
of course.
I just remember when Jeremy Bloom couldn't ski in the Olympics and play football at Colorado, and now these dudes have cashed basketball checks and are going backwards into college.
I remember when Tony Romo got in trouble for having a fantasy football convention in Las Vegas.
Right.
Things change.
Well, I think this was the guys who played for G League Ignite, which was that thing that stupid thing that Adam Silver created to try to get the NCAA to pay guys. And now that that's gone away, maybe this is their thing. Say, hey, listen, like it didn't work out. Like you should be able to still get paid and play basketball because you were doing that anyway. So I don't know, but to be fair, we're now seeing guys who are playing in Europe who are coming over also.
That's where it started. Yeah,
that's the thing that we were seeing. We saw the last few years where guys were pros in Europe, but because of the new NIL rules, they were able to come over. Gonzaga's got a guy from Spain. A lot of these guys are getting paid and coming over to play college basketball. So I guess
Here's a
it makes
question.
sense. I guess it's fair. If you're going to do the European guys, you got to do the guys in America too.
Do you have more of a problem with this or like guys being 25 and 26 years old in football? Because you could say football's actually dangerous. Like you have a guy, a 25-year-old full-grown man going up against an 18 or 19-year-old. Like that could cause some real damage.
You mean the guys who are stuck around because of the COVID year? Like the Miami.
These dudes have like 3 kids, a wife, a minivan, a
mortgage,
still in college. But,
and less than 1 degree.
I mean,
but basketball, you have a guy who comes over who's playing professionally in Spain or something like that. Yeah. He's 25. He could take you to the title. I mean, 5 guys on the court. Yeah. Like you could have such a big impact.
Well, for the football thing, though, if you're a freshman who gets on the field, you're probably like Jeremiah Smith was fine. Harold Perkins, remember at LSU, he was fine. So I'm not worried about that. Basketball, I don't. It's pro sports. Let's not kid ourselves. College sports are now pro sports. So if you jump from one pro league, you're jumping into a new pro league. When guys are getting millions of dollars, what are we talking about here? Some kind of academic eligibility? It sounds silly.
Well, you always had guys who were playing professionally in Europe and then coming over. Kristaps Porzingis, Luka Doncic, who dropped 40, whatever last night.
Right.
Those guys were basically pros, but they were so young they were draft eligible. I'm assuming these guys are not draft eligible, right? Are they too old?
The guys in the G come from the G League?
Who are going from like Europe now?
No, they're still
back to
draft
college.
eligible.
Oh, they still are draft eligible. Okay.
Are you ever not draft eligible?
Why would you not be
it's
draft
a movie.
eligible?
The movie Hustle, remember? You had to be a certain age. That's the funny joke
at
about
19.
Boban Marjanovic that he's claiming
draft
to be
eligible on the young end.
Yeah.
Oh, I see what you mean.
You can't be older than a certain
Got
age.
it, yeah.
Remember Boban in the movie you were starring in?
Yes.
Was like, I'm 21. He looks 40.
He literally had like a 10-year-old kid
Idiot,
in that scene a little bit later. What a great movie.
It was a good movie, Pearl. You were awesome in it.
Bo Cruz.
You carried that film.
I mean,
it's like sitting next to De Niro.
How's it feel getting into the combine?
If I didn't say that line, the audience would have been confused why he all of a sudden showed up at the combine. So I kind of was the linchpin of the movie. It's actually, I'm like, I get one line and it's at a key plot line. Are you sure about that, Adam? And it's like, hey, Andy, it'll be fine. Just go out there and say the line.
You know, another great debate.
Meanwhile, it takes 77 and he wanted to stab you.
We should, at one point, do a great debate, a little bit off sports. We should just do the greatest, one line in a movie.
Oh, yes. That's a great one.
Just one line, and maybe by not one of the stars.
60% of the time, it works every time.
So funny. Superbad.
That does make sense.
Superbad and Anchorman jumped right into my head.
You know what jumped into my head? I already got mine, too.
I love Lamp.
It's Enrico Palazzo.
Oh, that's a good one. Naked Gun.
Yeah, that's a little older for you guys.
Yeah, the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor from Animal House.
We'll do that another time. Meanwhile, this Wednesday's great debate, today's great debate, the greatest individual postseason performance ever. 888-710-4ISN. Coming up, we've got some news for you from the college ranks. MMP.
I'm Ron Burgundy. You stay classy, San Diego.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 3 minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
That's a little bit like me, though. A lot of people, I gained a lot of fame because there were a lot of guests on the Dan Patrick Show who thought I was Christopher Mintz-Plasse.
What kind of a stupid name is that, Fogel? What are you trying to be, an Irish R&B singer?
Oh, they let you pick any name you want when you get down there.
And you landed on McLovin.
Yeah, I was between that and Muhammad.
Why the would it be between that or Muhammad?
It's Maggie and Perloff.
Muhammad is the most commonly used name on earth. Read a book for once.
On the Infinity Sports Network.
Oh my God! I didn't remember that part of the conversation.
Yeah.
I just remember, what do you think, you're Seal?
The great debate today is the greatest single playoff performance of all time, the greatest individual performance. But along the way, we happened upon maybe a second great debate for another time. The greatest single movie line of all time.
Oh, all right. Let's not say it again. We got to save it. We got to hold it because we're going to get distracted by that.
All right. What are you, an Irish R&B singer? Might be up there.
Read a book.
Ted is in Boise, wants to talk about one of the greatest individual sports performances of all time. What's up, Ted?
Hey, so I was at an Oakland A's game in 1989, and there was a couple guys sitting in front of me and my dad, and one guy got up and left, and the other guy turned around and said, when he comes back, ask him for his autograph. So the guy came back, and I said, hey, could I get your autograph, sir? And it was Don Larson.
Wow.
And he pulled out a business card from the paper company that he was working for and signed it. And he said, you know, son, he said, all these guys charging for these autographs these days, they're going to be my age someday, and no one's going to know who they are, and they'll want their autograph. But I got to meet him, and he was a great man, and I'm going to vote for him.
Love it.
I mean, we're talking about greatest individual postseason performances of all time. Ted, obviously Don Larsen's perfect game in the World Series, Game 5, 1956 World Series. That was Bogish's pick, Pearl, and I think a lot of people will probably vote for that at Maggie and Pearl on X. And that's a cool story that Don Larsen was generous in giving his autograph out when some guys get a little prickly about that.
Yeah, and also another thing about the Don Larsen story is the Yogi Berra running out and hugging him is so iconic.
Yep.
And Yogi
jumping into his arms.
Yeah, jumping into his arms. Yogi is such a positive story as well that it makes the Don Larsen story even better.
How about Joe in San Francisco? Joe, the greatest individual postseason performance ever. Joe? All right, Joe, going to put you on hold. How about Salvio in California? Salvio, what do you got?
I'm a longtime Giants fan, and Madison Bumgarner, Game 7 against Kansas City, coming in relief. I knew when he was walking in, they were going to win. And he was unstoppable. That he did a complete game shutout previous to that little rest. I mean, I just knew it. It was awesome, and that sticks out in my mind.
Yep.
Maybe the greatest postseason pitcher ever. And we're talking about, Don Larsen pitched a perfect game, but Madison Bumgarner did it over multiple postseasons, and he was just so intimidating to see because you knew when he got on the mound in the postseason, it was over.
Yeah, I think Bob Gibson will make a strong argument as well. Ever is a long time, and Sandy Koufax, but Madison Bumgarner of our generation, no doubt.
Absolutely. Yeah. Bumgarner, 6-1 record in the postseason, a sub-2 ERA with 97 and a third postseason innings. 7 starts, that very memorable relief appearance. Pretty crazy. Held opponents to a 150 batting average.
Oof.
58 strikeouts against 8 walks. I mean, this stuff is legend. Let's go to Billy, who's in Toronto. Billy, what's the vibe with the Blue Jays back in the World Series, sir?
Well, I'll tell you, they're going crazy here. Of course, I'll tell you guys, I've been on a whirlwind tour. My wife is. We celebrated number 35, and she turned 65. So I've been in Hong Kong, and she's Asian from Hong Kong, and I've been in Hong Kong and Japan for a good part of the this whole year. I'll tell you, so I've seen Shohei Ohtani all over the place in Japan. I mean, he's and that's where I'm going to go with that. I'm going to go with I still can't believe that, the game, hitting 3 home runs and then also doing it on defense, striking out 10. That to me, and I'm an older guy, I should be going old school on you, but I mean, I can't see anything being better than that. If you want a Toronto thing, of course, we're going to say Joe Carter in '93, the home run that got us into the won us the World Series. So,
Billy, what about that Maple Leafs game-winning goal in the Stanley Cup Final? What about that one?
Yeah. I'm more of a baseball fan than a hockey fan, guys.
I was joking because it hasn't happened in centuries.
I got you. Yeah. Well, and it's a funny thing here, and a big thing happening up here was that Vlad Guerrero walked into the last game that we won, and he was wearing Austin Matthews' shirt.
Love
and everybody was crazy. Why the hell are you wearing that? The Leafs can't get anywhere. We're going to lose this game today, and then the Leafs played last night. Of course, they lost again, and he just came back with wearing a Vladdy shirt. But guys, one thing I just want to ask you. I know it's off the topic, but like I say, I've spent a lot of money in the last 6 months being over there, and I came back here, guys, and I've gotten tickets now for the Blue Jays game.
Wow.
And matter of fact, I can get tickets for all 4 games, and if it goes 7, and I'm going to get them. But guys, I cannot believe what I'm getting on the offers on the open market. I can go back to Hong Kong and Japan for another 6 months, stay in the best hotels down there. I cannot believe that this is what people are paying now for tickets. And
wow, Billy, I don't want to be indelicate here, but you want to give us a number?
Yeah, listen, I can just get them. It's the line of work that I was in before I retired as a moonlighting job, by the way. But I'll just tell you guys, I'm shocked. They're offering $20,000 on some places to get tickets. And if I wait it out, I mean, like the game doesn't go till I think it's later in the week. But I'm just going to wait it out, guys. I went to the World Series in '92, '93, so I've been to my World Series. I've got a ton of nephews that want to go. I've talked to them and said, listen, guys, we can go to 1 million games next year. I know it's the World Series.
I'll buy a season ticket package.
Yeah, exactly. It is mind-boggling. I'm in the wrong business. I mean, if they're offering this, and all I had a guy who do was make a few phone calls for me, and I'm more lucky than a lot of people. But this is just crazy what the aftermarket.
Well, Billy, our jaws are dropped around here. Thank you so much for the phone call. And
now, is that Canadian or American dollars?
Well, 20
I'm not surprised.
grand.
I am not surprised that they haven't been in the World Series in a long time, and the Dodgers. I know because secondary price. I've been looking in recent years at NBA secondary prices. They're insane, Maggie. I mean, and for a World Series, I would tell those nephews, go away. There's no way. And Billy's right.
Find your own tickets.
Sell those tickets in a heartbeat.
I'm sorry, 20,000?
Oh yeah,
for game one.
Is he sitting on the plate?
I was going to say, do you get to go up and take a few hacks?
He should be in the dugout. Those kind of seats.
I bet
you should
they're
get
more.
to decide what reliever they go to.
I'll bet you right behind the plate is worth way more than that.
He's probably handing out the home run jacket as well.
He's
it
wearing
off the hook.
Sheesh. The other thing, too, though, okay, so Super Bowl prices obviously can get insane, college football national championship, but that's a singular game. This, you get multiple games. You still think it's $20K per ticket?
Yeah, I'm not shocked. By the way, shout out to Austin Matthews. He's carrying me in Prize Picks, Maggie.
I'm glad someone's making money off of that.
Yeah, great
winning.
American hockey player. I get it. If I was in Toronto, I would desperately want to go to this game. Obviously, this is everything. I mean, if your Mets would ever win a World Series, wouldn't you want to pay $20,000?
I went to a Mets World Series game. It didn't cost me $20 grand. It didn't cost me $1,000.
Did they win?
Shut up, Annie. 888-710-4ISN. 888-710-4476. No, they did not.
Yeah, I'm evil, America.
Was it painful? Yes, it was.
Good.
Maggie Perloff Show. We're talking Packers next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 2 minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Are the Cowboys actually swimming in deep water before the trade deadline? Welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. Rumors all over the place, bro. That Jerry, the wheeler dealer, could be added again. He got a couple picks burning a hole in his pocket after trading away Micah Parsons, and now the Cowboys desperately need defensive help. So I don't think a lot of people believe they were a playoff team before the season started. In fact, the odds were pretty long that they would make the playoffs. Now here they are with this all-time offense. CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens, Dak's playing great, but the defense is a sieve. They need help.
Absolutely. You know, Jerry is bragging about being a risk taker. Oddly enough, it's time to take a risk because they found something on offense. And I think we should be talking about Javonte Williams, the running back, as well in that conversation. Just the fact that George Pickens is so hard to cover, and CeeDee Lamb, I'm a huge CeeDee Lamb fan. That guy is a monster. You got to compliment them with defense. Go all in. Be that risk taker. Be the guy in the documentary, not the reality of what Jerry Jones is.
I mean, the irony that they would be trading significant assets to get a pass rusher when they had one of the best in the league in their building that they drafted, that they developed, but they didn't want to pay. And
it was a lot of money. It was $46 million that the Packers ultimately paid. So that's a lot of money.
Yeah, but you know what? I don't think football fans want to hear that, especially the Cowboy fans that wanted to keep Micah, because other teams seem to find a way.
How many callers did we have from Dallas who said, I'm glad we're doing this deal. I don't want to invest in Micah Parsons.
And we were stunned by that.
Yep.
And now are you maybe regretting it because you go in on Max Crosby, you're still going to have to invest a lot. You're going to have to pay him. He's not cheap. He's a little cheaper, I guess, than Micah, but not by a whole heck of a lot. So we're asking you today, do you think this is real? Is Jerry just bluffing or doing one of his classic things where he kind of, gives that little carrot, that little cookie to the Cowboy fan to keep them engaged? And would you trade like 2 first-round picks for a Max Crosby or a first-round pick in a player, something like that?
So this is all in 2.0. I'm all in, and then he's all out.
Let's get to our guest because we want to talk about the Green Bay Packers. This is going to be one of the biggest games of the weekend because Aaron Rodgers is facing his former team for the first time. The game's actually in Pittsburgh, Pearl, but nonetheless, let's welcome in Bill Michaels. The Bill Michaels Show is a staple for all the fans in Wisconsin and all across the country. Bill, thank you so much for the time. How are you, sir?
It's good to see you guys again. I'm doing great. How are you?
We're doing fantastic. Let's talk about the Packers, the current Packers first, before we go down memory lane here with Rodgers. How would you describe the Packers offense right now, Bill?
Aaron Rodgers-esque, the enigma. We don't know what it is yet. I love how I can do that. To be honest with you, we were just talking about that this past week, is what is their identity? They want to run the football with Josh Jacobs. He's been a little bit nicked up. The offensive line, for the first time, has played together in back-to-back weeks all season, going all the way back to training camp. You had Rasheed Walker hurt. You had Banks hurt. You had Elton Jenkins moving to center. You had guys that you were mixing and matching. So this is the first time since Zach Tom came back, Banks is back, that everybody's been together in back-to-back weeks. They have not been able to be consistent and get that kind of that confluence of offensive lineman capabilities together. So they're all familiar with one another all over again. And then you've got Jaden Reed going down. So now they're trying to figure things out. Dontavian Wicks has had an ankle injury. They haven't been able to get into that rhythm. So we don't know what that identity is yet. You assume that they're taking a lot of chunk plays. They keep talking about explosive plays. They want to go downfield, but really I think they want to run the football with Josh Jacobs. So once that continuity continues and it gets better, my assumption is that they're going to be able to run the football with Josh Jacobs more consistently, which should then open up the passing game.
But, Bill, I'm curious, are people upset that Matt LaFleur is maybe too conservative? Because against Arizona, when you saw Jordan Love had to make a play, he made the play. Like this guy, yeah. I feel like he could be closer to Aaron Rodgers and make a lot of big plays, but LaFleur, it seems to me, he's holding him back a bit.
See, it's funny because they are actually attempting the most explosive plays in the league right now. So people say, well, he's conservative. He does get conservative at times. You look at the first half of that Arizona game, and it was bizarre. You look at the Dallas game early on, it was a little bit bizarre. You look at certainly what was going on in Cleveland. It was like they just forgot. It was very rudimentary. It was like they forgot what they were all about. So I agree with you. It looks that way. Perception becomes reality. But they've also taken a ton of attempts at explosive plays. You look at that fourth down play in Arizona where he had Romeo Doubs wide open. They got the matchup they wanted because he was on a safety, and they went for it when all they needed was a 4th and 2. And instead, they ended up throwing deep down into the end zone. He overthrew him, and Jordan Love said, look, I just missed him. Otherwise, that's a touchdown. It's herky-jerky. It's because in one half, you're looking at a team that's very tight, very run-oriented, very, end around, things we've seen before that's not really flashy. And then all of a sudden they open it up in the second half, and the next thing you know, they're taking off. They have not put a full 4 quarters together yet. The scary thing is this. On one hand, if this offense begins to flow, it can be one of the best offenses in the league, specifically when you get Christian Watson back, and then you've got him paired with Matthew Golden, Tucker Kraft, and Josh Jacobs in the backfield. It becomes very scary. Or do you never reach that potential, and you're a team that coulda, woulda, shoulda, but never did? And that's the enigma that we're trying to figure out right now.
Bill Michaels is joining us of the Bill Michaels Show, is the voice of Wisconsin sports. What do you think is the true ceiling for this Packers team, Bill?
Oh, I think they could set records. I think they're that good. And when we were down in Super Bowl, we saw you guys down in New Orleans, and we talked with Greg Cosell at the time. And I respect Greg about as much as I respect many. Him and Brian Billick were sitting down at the table talking with us, and they said that look, Aaron Rodgers was a tremendous quarterback. Jordan Love has top 5 capability. It's just whether or not he ever achieves it. You always have to have the mistake-free game. You have to have that moment in time in which you throw the ball away or you hit the guy that's open, and just take what the defense gives you, and don't try to force a bad mistake to where it turns the tables on you. We've seen that a couple of times this year. They're not far away. I think they've got a ton of talent. It's just whether or not that talent is realized.
Bill, I don't want to needle any of the many Cowboys fans who are listening to us, but I did notice Green Bay is number 2 in run defense, despite having a guy that Jerry Jones said couldn't stop the run in Micah Parsons. What do you think of the way Parsons has fit in so far?
What he has done is energized, and you guys know this, when you bring a superstar in, when you trade for a guy, you tell everybody else in that locker room, we believe that you're just this guy away. We believe that we are that close. And what he has done is energize that defense. Now, the big thing right now is Devontae Wyatt's down out of the middle, who took over for Kenny Clark. And so without him, it hasn't had as much push in the middle. But when you get Devontae Wyatt back, Edgerrin Cooper, the draft choice last year, the linebacker, he's flying to the football. Quay Walker's playing his best football ever. Rashawn Gary's been feasting from the opposite side because of Micah Parsons. Everything has been really good. Their susceptibility right now is the secondary. They've had some coverage issues. They played some soft zone. I'd like to see him play a little more smash you in the mouth man coverage. But what he has done is energized the locker room. And you know the funny thing is, speaking of Micah Parsons, all the things that came out about him after he ended up getting traded away, about how he could be a distraction and how there were going to be problems, the guy has been nothing but a model citizen and nothing but a great voice and a mouthpiece for that locker room. And we haven't seen it. So all the things that came out negative about him via Cowboys fans and kind of leaked out of that locker room, we haven't seen one iota of that up here in Green Bay.
What does $47 million buy you? A good teammate. Bill Michaels is joining us, the Bill Michaels Show, the voice of Wisconsin sports. And we thought of you and only you, Bill, when we wanted to talk about Aaron Rodgers facing his former team in the Packers. It's not going to happen at Lambeau. That would have been pretty sweet. It's going to happen in Pittsburgh. But nonetheless, where are Packer fans right now with Aaron Rodgers as far as the relationship?
I think I've said this before. Aaron, on his way out, rubbed people the wrong way. I think there's some fans that, regardless of what he does, they're going to love him. There's other fans that he kind of turned off, but I've said this, and I'll stick by this. When he returns to Lambeau Field after he retires, whenever that is, and he comes back and he's a Hall of Famer, they're going to welcome him with open arms like they did Favre. Favre engineered himself to New York and then came in to Minnesota and so famously beat the Packers at Lambeau Field. And I was standing in the tunnel when Favre came off the field, and he was nothing but revenge filled when he had that win. And Packers fans hated him for it. And then when he came back and he was inducted into the Hall of Fame and he came back in the gold jacket on that so infamous night when they played the Bears and gave that hug to Bart Starr, that whole family of Packers fans welcomed him back with open arms. And they still love him no matter what, has transpired since then. So Aaron Rodgers is going to be welcomed back with open arms. I completely believe that.
Bill, I'm sure you've watched a lot of Aaron Rodgers this season, a different quarterback than last year. How much upside do you think there is in Pittsburgh with Rodgers right now?
The two things that make him so incredibly good, number one is his mind, and number two is his arm. I've said this a million times over. When I met him right after he got drafted, they used to do like a symposium at Green Bay where the media gets to sit down with all the draftees. And nobody was sitting with him because we already had Brett Favre, so he was nothing more than a backup quarterback who happened to have a really bad moment in the green room backstage at the draft. So I sat and talked with him, and he knew so much already about the organization, about the history, about some of the heroes of the organization, and even the nondescript heroes of the organization. And I remember walking away, and I shook his hand, and I said, "Hey, thanks for talking with me for a couple of minutes." And I said, if your physical ability is half as good as your mind, you're going to be a Hall of Famer. I don't get any predictions right in my life, but that's one of them. And that's what makes him so incredibly good. No matter how much he can or can't run, which he's more mobile this year, he's still got an unbelievable mind. He can see it like the Matrix, and he's got the arm to go with it, and he's still a dangerous quarterback.
Bill, as far as Wisconsin sports legends, you mentioned, Rodgers will be welcome back just like Favre, and Favre had a lot more serious things going on. You were excellent in the Brett Favre documentary, by the way.
Thank you.
Untold. You were a phenomenal voice on that, and you did a great job. As far as, you had so many incredible sports heroes in Wisconsin. Is Rodgers like on a Mount Rushmore, so to speak, in terms of legends from that state?
Oh, wow. That's pretty big. I mean, you got guys like Robin Yount and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and then Barry Alvarez put, Wisconsin football back on the map. Bo Ryan took him to a Final Four. But Aaron Rodgers, one of the greatest things I can remember, and I didn't appreciate it until I was coming down the elevator after the game, when they went on the Super Bowl run. Their first game, they ended up playing in Philadelphia, and he had a tremendous game. It was a very cold day, and they kind of fought their way through that. But then they went to Atlanta, and I spent the week in Flowery Branch with the Falcons, who were everything they did, they got ready for Aaron Rodgers. And I remember that game because afterwards, and Rodgers played in a tremendous game. And I was thinking to myself, this might be one of the greatest games I've ever seen. And Steve Young was in the elevator with me with a couple of other media members. And Steve and I had talked prior to that, going into the postseason, very briefly. And he said to me, that's one of the greatest performances I've ever seen out of a quarterback. And he said he was like a mythological surgeon, the way he just dissected that defense. And he said that we may never see a great performance like that again. And that's when it hit me. And I went back and I watched it again. That was probably one of the best playoff, when you needed to step up and lead your team and say, I'll throw you on my back, just go do what I need you to do. that was one of the greatest playoff performances I can possibly remember. Obviously, they go on to win a Super Bowl, but that game really solidified it for me for how great Aaron Rodgers was and could be.
Quick transition, talking about Wisconsin Mount Rushmore athletes. What's the temperature with Giannis right now? Do you expect him to stay in Milwaukee? And what's the public opinion on where he is?
I do. He loves Milwaukee. It's the outside, what we call the outside noise. There's so many people that want him in New York or in LA or in a big market. He loves Milwaukee. He walks the streets. He goes to Chick-fil-A. He goes to the taco place, the Bel Air Canteen up the street, and he orders tacos for his family, and then he buys for everybody. He loves it. He just wants to win. I was at an Italian restaurant probably 5 years ago, and he came walking in and said, there was some Bucks dignitaries there, and it's just a little mom and pop place, but everybody loves to eat there. And he said, he walked in and he was talking to John Horst, who happened to be there. And he said, you make sure we're competitive and I'll make sure I'll win you a championship. And they did it. They went out and did it. And this year he said, he's done the same thing. I got a really good contact with the Bucks who said, Giannis just wants to be here. He wants to win here. And then he wants to retire and go back to Greece because he loves Greece. That's his hometown. But he's never had an American home except for Milwaukee. They brought his family over. They've got his brothers playing with him. His entire support system is here in Milwaukee. I mean, when his mom wants to go shopping, they take her down to Chicago and they let her walk the Magnificent Mile and she goes shopping. There's no reason right now for him to say, I got to go someplace else other than the fact that he just wants to win. And I'll tell you this, if they win deep into the postseason this year and have a legitimate shot at it with everything they've done, I guarantee you he signs the max and he comes back to Milwaukee for another 3 to 5 years.
Bill Michaels with us. One last question for you. They often call Milwaukee the Greece of the Midwest.
Yeah,
I think I've heard that. Last one for you, bringing it back to this Love-Rodgers showdown that we get. It's going to happen in Pittsburgh. Would have been cool if it happened in Lambeau, but you get Rodgers and Love against each other, which is really, really special. Bill, do you think that Jordan Love will ever be in the conversation with Favre and Rodgers as far as quarterback ability? Will he pierce that, and will it be the great three quarterbacks that impact, well, more, Bart Starr, obviously, but will he pierce that and be in that elite level, that elite club?
The only way he does that is if some of those little gaffes, like the 2-minute drill that went so ugly in Dallas, like the bad interception he threw deep in his own territory in Cleveland, if some of those things don't get eliminated from his game, he'll never reach that pinnacle because he's got all the tools and he's got better wheels than both of them. I mean, he can get outside he's one of the best elusive quarterbacks when it comes to the pocket collapsing in the game right now. So if he doesn't eliminate those mistakes from his game, he'll never realize that. He'll be right here, but they're at this particular level. So I think he's got the talent. It's just whether or not it all comes together. Remember, Aaron Rodgers didn't become Aaron Rodgers until his 7th or 8th game in his 3rd season under center is when everything really began to click. That's why there's so much anticipation for what happens the rest of the way this year for Jordan Love, because if it suddenly starts to click for him, look out, because I think he's got even more talent with his legs than Rodgers and Favre both did.
Bill, can't tell you how much we appreciate this. We think of you when we think of Wisconsin sports, the Bill Michaels Show. You can watch it every day. Thank you. And listen, thank you so much, Bill. Thank you.
See you guys soon. Thanks.
Okay. Talk to you soon, Bill. He knows everything about Wisconsin.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot going on.
He got Giannis. The Brewers we didn't get a chance to get into because their season unfortunately just ended. We never got into the 8-6-2 double play.
Yeah, I mean,
we wouldn't bring that up.
We don't want to bring up much about the Badgers either. But the thing about the Packers is there's more upside there. That, yes, they have not played great, and they still have a big-time winning record. I feel like if this comes together, that's a real contender. Think
about it, too. Still looking for the ceiling for Jordan Love when this guy's been deep into the playoffs the last 2 years. Interesting. 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. Okay, we'll get back to the great debate. What's the greatest postseason game of all time? Postseason individual performance. Also asking you this question. Is Pete Carroll one and done with the Raiders? Got that next. M&P.
You're in a 5-minute break. 4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
All right, this Thursday night football preview is sponsored by Square. More than 4 million neighborhood businesses run on Square. To learn more, go to square.com or just stop by your favorite local business. See you in the neighborhood. Square Short week. This is Carson Wentz time, baby.
I don't know. I mean,
Vikings, Chargers.
Yeah, Vikings are at the Chargers. J.J. McCarthy doesn't look like he's still ready to come back. So, yeah, you get a little bit more Wentz, which I don't love. Here's my question, though. We haven't talked a lot about the Chargers. This Harbaugh coach team that we saw last week lose to the Indianapolis Colts, this is not the team that Jim Harbaugh wants to be coaching, right? I mean, I get you have tackles that are injured, makes it harder to run the ball. You've got running backs that are injured. What happened to the defense, bro? They were awesome to begin the season. I thought this was a team that with a Ferrari, a quarterback, and Justin Herbert, his ability that they were going to run the ball, play defense, and then also have, this threat of this explosive pass game with Justin Herbert. I didn't see any of that. Hell, they barely beat the Miami Dolphins on the road. They needed Justin Herbert to play Houdini, or else they'd be on a 4-game losing streak right now.
I'll tell you why you got overly optimistic about the Chargers defense. They started out with a Kansas City team who was playing ridiculous conservative football. Then the Raiders
in a different continent.
They beat the Raiders 20-9. It turns out 9 is a high number for the Raiders. The Raiders stink on offense. Then they beat the Broncos 23-20, and the Broncos have been very inconsistent on offense. Then of course they lost to the Giants, which was ridiculous. So I think that you maybe got false hope. As you look at their defensive roster, there's no Joey Bosa there anymore. Khalil Mack is older. Derwin James, they rely on him a lot. It's not a great defensive roster. I think you have to wonder about team building because Harbaugh did have to sort of recover from a lot there. We expected instant success like he had in San Francisco. Maybe that was too much to ask.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think something has happened, either the injuries and they're not able to overcome them. But, I hate blaming injuries when your quarterback's fully healthy. Because I feel like especially a guy who got paid and who is a top quarterback in Justin Herbert. Right now, the spread's sitting at 3.5, total 44.5. What's your lean? Opened at 2.5, by the way, and is now bumped. People are betting the Chargers so big it went to 3.5. Yeah, the Sharps.
I like the Vikings, and I'll tell you why. Because I don't think they're protecting Herbert. I know Herbert threw for 400 yards against the Colts, but the Colts got to him, and Minnesota can rush the passer. I think Minnesota's defense could carry the day here. I'm going Minnesota, and like you said, we view Carson Wentz very differently. Is he going to throw a bad pick? Probably, but I think the Chargers are really hurting, at least the Chargers team I saw the last couple weeks.
I didn't like what I saw from the Minnesota defense against your Eagles. I saw an A.J. Brown game that was stellar. I saw Devontae Smith running in a touchdown with not even another defender in the camera shot. I'm worried about the back half of that Vikings defense, and I think that if Herbert has even a little bit of time, it's possible. He doesn't really carve anybody up, but it's possible there's enough explosive plays there where the Chargers get back on track.
Oh, come on. Did anybody on planet Earth expect Jalen Hurts to uncork a bunch of long passes to A.J. Brown?
It saved your season.
I know the Eagles swerved. The Vikings came in and said, we're going to shut down Saquon Barkley, which is the sound move. And then out of nowhere, Jalen Hurts pulls these deep passes out. He hasn't thrown those all season successfully. So that was a bit of
They were available, which they might be for Justin Herbert.
That was a offensive rope-a-dope by the Eagles. I'm not going to kill the Vikings for that. I think they do have pass rushers. I think the way that the line is protecting right now really scares me for the Chargers.
It is Wednesday, which means we do something called the Great Debate. We do it every Wednesday. Today's question, inspired by some recent events. What is the greatest individual postseason performance of all time? Obviously, Shohei Ohtani really nailed it the other day with
not a bad game.
6 innings, shutout, baseball, 10 strikeouts, and 3 home runs. And one of those home runs left the ballpark.
Well, my argument is sound. Like, it's easy to hit a lot of home runs when your pitcher is dominating the game. There's no pressure. It happens to be the same person. That's unique.
Very good. So we're asking, what is the greatest postseason performance of all time? Let's go to Bryant, who's in San Francisco. Bryant, what do you have, sir?
Hey, good morning. How you guys doing?
We're great.
Good. Well, I was just, 1988 Joe Montana, the 92-yard drive to win Super Bowl 23 over Cincinnati. That was pretty amazing feat.
Bryant, we are contractually not able to talk about that game, so thank you so much for bringing it up. But with Boomer Esiason sitting less than 100 feet away, that game never existed.
So yeah.
What the hell was that all
We
about?
don't talk about Joe Montana's game-winning drive there.
No, one of the great all-time Super Bowls, really close. It's funny when the Niners came up. I thought Steve Young, 6 touchdowns, all-time record against the Chargers. I think people don't put that there because it's like, they just beat Stan Humphries and the Chargers. It wasn't a great team, but that Steve Young performance is right there. It's funny, Montana, like there's so many moments you don't even think, you think about the collective body of work. I don't even think of that one game as like the great game, but he was amazing.
I'm glad you brought that up because today we're talking about the great debate. We do that on Wednesdays, but guys, we do something cool every day. So tomorrow we return to Maggie Perloff, King of the Mountain. And I'm glad you brought up the 49ers because the 1984 San Francisco 49ers have won now, is it 4 weeks in a row? Or this will be 5? 5 weeks in a row as the winning these matchups, remaining King of the Mountain as we search for the greatest NFL team of all time. And we're a little surprised that the 49ers keep winning as convincingly as they do in these polls, but I think people are kind of throwing in the whole era.
I disagree with you on that. I think this is one of the great teams. The metrics are amazing. A lot of NFL, like official lists from former NFL players have this as the second or third best team of all time. There hasn't been a real heavyweight. You like the Giants with LT last week. That team was great, but it wasn't as balanced as the San Francisco team.
Yeah, 1986 Giants were just the latest victim in our King of the Mountain. So again, if I didn't explain this well, we are looking for the greatest NFL team of all time. And every week we put 2 great teams against each other in a poll that you guys vote on and you determine the winner. Whoever wins gets to stay. We bring another challenger to them. Man, that song doesn't seem intimidating, but sheesh. All right, EJ, let's spin the wheel. Who are the 1984 49ers going up against this week?
Wheel is spinning. It's spinning. All right, here we go.
People think we're joking about this or we're faking it.
This is very timely for what we've been talking about on our show.
Quick wheel today.
Less teams. Less teams means less time on the wheel.
Sure.
Russell Wilson in the 2013 Seattle Seahawks.
Oh, boy.
Get out of
Gets
here.
to face their now division rival, though one of them been in 1984. They will face the 84 Niners.
84 Niners, 2013 Seahawks.
There is going to be some hitting in this game, Maggie. Because the 84 Niners played in an era where you could actually hit people, and the Legion of Boom just hit people, even though it was against the rules.
I was going to say, I don't think that Earl Thomas was patting people on the head.
No, I'm saying, no, the Seahawks hit too. Ronnie Lott, Earl Thomas, and the Legion of Boom. This is going to be a sneaky defensive battle.
Wow. All right, let that soak in. So that will be tomorrow. King of the Mountain.
By the way, if this does come down to the final minute of the game, Pete Carroll, please hand the ball off this time.
Oh, God, Pearl. Why would you do that?
I mean, come on. You weren't thinking it?
Speaking of Pete Carroll.
Hey, Seattle.
So, speaking of Pete Carroll, all-time moment, that 2013 Super Bowl, right? They dominated.
Yep.
Wasn't even a game. Took out Peyton Manning and the Broncos. Just wasn't even competitive. But Pete Carroll's back. And it's not going great.
Nope.
And everyone is levels of degree of shock, including Pete Carroll himself, who came out last week, Pearl, and said, well, we thought we'd be way better out of the gate than we are. They're 2-5. The season's over. And now you're getting the Max Crosby, trade rumors, and they're telling Crosby, we're not going to trade you. So now he's going to have another basically wasted season, good individual stats, but no team success. This is not what you bring a 73-year-old coach in to do.
No.
So is there a chance that Pete Carroll is one and done with the Raiders?
Yeah, I would think so. Listen, they miscalculated where they were and how much time it would take to rebuild. They're not 1 year away. So what are you doing here? They have to start over at quarterback. I think they have to go with an offensive guy. You have an indoor stadium. I presume, say you took, let's say, Dante Moore, the Oregon quarterback. Do you really want Pete Carroll coaching him? Guy who by nature wants to sort of limit his quarterback's production. He never wanted Russell Wilson throwing all over. He didn't really want Geno Smith throwing all over. So I think that would make no sense. I think they bring in an offensive whiz kid and a new quarterback next year.
All right, but hold on. I know things haven't gone really well for the Raiders, but Pete Carroll's history shows year 2 is much better than year 1. He is trying to build a culture. I know he's, older for a coach, 73, but don't you have to give him a little bit of time to work his magic, like another year or 2?
They had 3 first downs on Sunday against the Chiefs.
Terrible.
3.
Well, get rid of Chip Kelly then. He's the offensive coordinator. maybe you get him out, bring in someone new with a new quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, here's the problem. I know that you had this fantasy that Tom Brady was going to fix it all and make them the Patriots. There's a lot of damage over the last 10 years, roster building, organizationally. Remember all the terrible drafts they had with John Gruden and Mike Mayock? That still has an effect here. I do not think they need to think short-term at all. You got to think long-term. You got to rip the Band-Aid full rebuild.
EJ, can you throw it up on the poll at Maggie and Pearl? Is Pete Carroll one and done with the Raiders? Let's get to Andrew Bogish, who's got the latest headlines.
Guys, the Houston Rockets did not watch the Thunder get their rings or raise their NBA title banner last night in OKC. Then they gift-wrapped a W for the champs on opening night, says head coach Ime Udoka.
And we had plenty of opportunity to win it, and we made enough mistakes to lose it, and that's what ended up happening.
I don't think he was talking specifically about Kevin Durant, but he might have, because KD's debut included 4 turnovers in the box score, fouling out and putting Shai Gilgeous-Alexander on the line for the winning free throws with 2 seconds left in double OT, and calling a timeout he did not have, but somehow avoiding a technical foul.
You forgot a missed free throw.
That too.
The regulation, yeah.
SGA, so they cut him. SGA hit those 2 free throws, finishing with 35 points in this 125-124 win. Opening night ending with the Warriors beating the Lakers sans LeBron. In LA, 119-109. Steve Kerr happy to get 31 points from Jimmy Butler.
He just controls the game out there for us, and we need that. We've always been at our best when we can provide the support for Draymond and Steph's chaos.
So Steph's chaos was 23 points, including the put-away 3. Draymond's chaos included getting teed up while on the bench just 6 minutes into game 1.
Yep, that's
how you do it.
What is it, 14 before you start missing a game?
14, 15, he's one closer.
Something like that.
You guys see that new Draymond meme that's out now?
Because and it's always everybody else.
Peacock has a new show, I guess, and Draymond's a guest star, which was ironically they kept playing the commercial all night, and it's him in the hospital gown with the things in his nose.
I didn't see it.
I
didn't see that.
And now people are like, we're gonna run with this meme all year. Draymond Green looks like sick in like a hospital bed for one of these like comedy shows.
St. Dennis Medical, I think.
I think it is. Yeah, it is St. Dennis Medical.
That looks funny. I want to. Can we talk about Luka and the Lakers for 1 second?
Yeah.
Sure.
You know who holds the all-time record at NBA usage, which is the percentage of team's offense you're responsible for?
James Harden?
Luka Doncic, by far.
Okay.
He's not even close. He's going to shatter his record times 1,000 this year.
Can it be over 100?
I don't know, but it's like 35.05. Skinny Luka, now that he's got more endurance, like he is going to take every shot, have every assist. He feels no reason to pass the ball, and they're going to win some games in the regular season. I do think that formula obviously has a limit.
Well, maybe he's looking around at the rest of the roster besides Reeves, who had some scoring ability last night. Rui Hachimura basically stopped shooting. Gabe Vincent was a 0. Like, I don't know who else is supposed to. DeAndre Ayton, they couldn't wait to pull.
Oh, I know. I mean,
that was a bad matchup for him. He's not going to be good against the Warriors offense.
Yeah.
That's not a good recipe.
Even in the NBA, though, when you're a great player on a bad team, like you have a green light, you're very relaxed, and it's easy to score a ton of points, but it's not a winning formula. He's got to have way more around him right now.
I think LeBron, he gets to say, see, guys, this is what it looks like when I'm not there. It's the Luka Doncic show. This is what you guys want. This is your future.
Luka is 26.
Wait,
yeah.
Do you agree with the caller from earlier, JT in Atlanta, big Laker fan, who said he thinks LeBron is faking the sciatica?
I think it's weird that in the reporting about this, I believe David Miniman was saying this, and maybe Shams as well. They kept saying LeBron's hurt, but he's also going to be watching to see how the Lakers do during this stretch without him. Why would that matter? You're going to return to the team. What do you mean you're watching to see how they do? You're watching like everybody else, so you can go out there and help them when you come back. The fact that they keep emphasizing that he's keeping a close eye on a team that has all his rights tells me that I think maybe he's like not faking it, but I think he is like, you know what, I'm going to take some time off. I'm not feeling great. Let's see how they look without me. But everybody keeps saying they don't need me anymore.
Isn't sciatica a nerve damage injury type thing?
Yeah.
How do you fake nerve damage? Can you fake nerve
damage? It's like
damage?
a bad back. It's saying I have a bad back.
Or that pain can kind of shoot down like your butt and
that's
leg.
not, you can't track that on an MRI.
You can't do an MRI of that. Nerve damage? How you can do an MRI of nerve damage?
I'm not a doctor, dude. I push buttons.
I don't know why I said that so confidently. I have no idea.
Of course not.
I mean, did you watch a Netflix documentary on LeBron and Anthony Edwards last year where they followed him around?
Yeah, starting 5, something like that.
It is now October 22nd. We did learn one thing. LeBron is absolutely obsessed with Halloween and works for about a month on his costume. It could be what he's doing right now.
You're right. He does have a weird, I won't say unhealthy obsession with Halloween, but it seems really over the top.
He dropped $1 million on last year's Halloween.
Well, that seems excessive.
That's what I'm talking about. I know some people are really super into Halloween. Good for you. You're freaking me out, but good for you.
Right. Plus Taco Tuesday, so he's just a loser. He's just a dad. And as
He's a
backers,
sports dad.
he's us.
Yeah.
He's a sad dad.
And
it's also NFL season, and LeBron is... He's obsessed with NFL football, just like the rest of us. He's got a lot going on, people. He can't just rush back to the court.
Sorry, can I circle back on the Halloween decorations just for a second? Do you notice those skeletons that everyone seems to have that you put out in your front yard? Are they getting bigger?
Some of them are huge. The new ones in my neighborhood that I love, that I want, but I don't know where I would keep it after Halloween is like half a skeleton that's designed to look like it's climbing out of your lawn.
I've seen that one.
That's scary.
I like that one, but it's humongous.
Well, Halloween decorations have always been big, but I feel like since this new embrace of everything fall has happened in the last 10, 15 years, I feel like decorating your house for Halloween is now like Christmas.
Oh, it's a month.
We have lights.
You need to do everything and
You have
go
lights?
all out.
You have orange lights?
We have one of those like
Purple?
projector things in the lawn, putting like bats and ghosts on the house.
Like when I was a kid.
You guys fancy.
You got money, huh? You got a little projection going? All right.
Do you do it for Christmas too, and do like now we're doing snowflakes?
Yeah.
Da-da-da. Wow, you guys are lights projected on the house.
Big bucks bogus.
Love that.
Come on by.
Love that for you guys.
Thank you.
Man, I've also noticed with those gigantic skeletons that you get from Home Depot or Lowe's or whatever, they also now have a skeleton dog. So now your skeleton has like man's best friend right next to him.
I got a neighbor that left the skeleton up and just changes the shirt on it for depending on the year. There's a Hawaiian shirt all summer. Instead of taking it down and storing it, there's just always a skeleton in front of their house.
Smart man.
Well, that seems unnecessary, though. There'd be the impact of Spirit Halloween being so popular now because you go in, our local Spirit, you go in and there's all these terrifying animatronics.
Yeah, same with ours. Wait, hold on, Bogish.
Yeah.
Your neighbor keeps the skeleton up the whole year?
And it's like a 12-foot tall skeleton. It's just chilling in the front yard.
Dude, I would get a petition together.
Yeah.
Dude, take
that's
it
the
down.
least of our concerns in my neighborhood right now.
Got some HOA things going on.
I wish we had an HOA.
A jewelry heist?
No, that'd be
You living
cool.
in Paris these days?
No, I got an idiot neighbor feeding stray cats, and there's like bazillion cats in our neighborhood.
Oh, no.
Gross.
Yeah.
You guys are the worst. People who feed stray animals, like the idiots who keep feeding these squirrels all around
I
New
hate
York.
it.
Like, you don't understand. You're making it worse. You're making them more feral. Stop doing it.
Well,
you suck.
But here's my specific argument for that. At least a squirrel is a squirrel. This guy, if he wants a cat, you can go get a real cat and have it in your house.
Yeah.
Not lure all of the skeezy ones to your backyard and then have them poop in everybody else's yard because they're in our neighborhood now.
Big bucks bogus,
What's he
not
doing?
a cat guy.
Is he
I
luring
don't-
these cats in for
I don't want to know.
for nefarious purposes?
I don't want to know. There's just too many of them, and they're not going away. And I gotta find somebody who will come in the middle of the night and start scooping them up.
Wait, call. There's got to be a number you can call.
We have called all of the numbers on Long Island, and because they're not, because they're not dogs, and theoretically they're not a danger to people. They don't do anything about them. There's nothing. They can't take them anywhere. They don't get them off the street because they're not going to like bite somebody or anything like that. There's nothing. We are SOL.
Yeah. Who wants to try and catch a feral cat?
Right.
Bring him in.
I got an idea.
Yeah.
I'm solving it for you. Get the guy who's got the 12-foot skeleton and put that in the yard.
No.
Maybe it'll scare the cats away.
I need the guy with a 12-gauge shotgun to sit on a stool somewhere and just fire some warning shots.
Yeah.
No.
Long Island?
You got to get the skeleton dog to scare the cat.
Yeah, sorry, the skeleton dog. Thank you.
By the way, apologies to Billy Joel for bogus calling your house randomly on Long Island because he called everybody on Long Island.
111-1111. Nope. 222-2222.
The
Nope.
Obamas on the Hamptons, like, what is this number? Why do they keep calling us?
Can I come clean on a Halloween sin that I had that I promised myself I would never do?
The short shorts? You've already broken that promise.
Nope. I was cleaning the deck in March, spring into summer, and there was. Forgot to bring in the pumpkins.
Oh my
that thing was.
God.
That was
Spring and
organically like glued to the thing. The baseboard. It was
probably had another pumpkin growing inside of it.
I don't know what was going on. It was like it had gotten so soft and
How'd you miss it for 9 months?
Balcony?
Yeah, it was on our balcony. It was underneath like a cleaning supply little thing we have.
I had a pumpkin that was from school for the Halloween that I kept in my room for too long that it actually exploded. It exploded. My mom was so mad. She was like, I told you to throw out that damn pumpkin.
Were there pumpkin guts everywhere?
It
But
was
to be
everywhere.
honest-
It was smelling. It was nasty.
Did it smell like a delicious pumpkin pie?
No, definitely not.
But
Damn.
EJ, I mean, I hate to call out your mom, Mrs. Stewart, but was she not the person who kept the Christmas lights up until April?
You are damn right, Maggie.
But did they explode, Maggie?
They could have. The
Yeah,
tree
exactly.
probably almost caught on fire.
Yeah, that tree was up there, and it was April. So I got it from Ma. Okay, Ma?
All right, we got to leave it right there.
Man, we put a lot on the table in that segment.
What do I even title this segment for chapters?
Like, yeah, there you go.
Feral cats versus exploding
Versus EJ.
Hey, how about this for a doozy? We got some Bill Belichick news next.
Oh, great.
Maggie Perloff.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. 45 seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
He's calling the plays, but she's calling the shots. It's time for As the Tar Heel Turns.
Well, Pearl, this one actually has nothing to do with Jordan Hudson. This is just a straight Bill Belichick update here, and it has to do with actual football, not hot mics and not any kind of potential scandals or him leaving North Carolina. The Pro Football Hall of Fame announced that Belichick is one of 12 coaches that their Blue Ribbon Committee has advanced to the next stage of the selection process, getting this from Pro Football Talk. And the group will be whittled to 9 in the near future, and a finalist from that group will be selected in mid-November. Do you want to know who Belichick is joined by?
Oh, yeah.
Tom Coughlin, Mike Holmgren, George Seifert, Mike Shanahan, Buddy Parker. Also, Bill Arnsparger, Alex Gibbs, Chuck Knox, Dan Reeves, Marty Schottenheimer, and Clark Shaughnessy.
They can't let Alex Gibbs in before Mike Shanahan, but he was his O-line coach.
Yeah.
Shanahan is so ridiculous to me that he's not in the Super Bowl with, not in the Hall of Fame with 2 Super Bowl wins. But I think Bill Belichick can make a case.
Here's the question, though. No doubt Belichick's going to be a Hall of Famer. Like, we understand that he should walk in. But does this mean he's maybe setting a signal that he's not trying to get back into the NFL?
Sure seems like that. That was my first thought when I saw that headline. The NFL is done with Bill Belichick. Let's move on to the next stage.
Yeah, I just don't believe that's true. Now, this North Carolina thing has been a debacle. Obviously, they're losing on the field first and foremost, and then you can't go a week and a half without some kind of weird headline. Whether it's fair or unfair, they're just making a lot of news, maybe in the wrong kind of way.
Yeah, I mean, in part because they're so high profile because Bill Belichick is there that Pablo Torre and others are watching them very closely.
Well, the news is odd also.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But maybe he's learning a lot and year 2 could be different. I think there's a chance that he is actually committed to UNC. There's a chance.
Yeah, I don't believe that. I just also don't know if UNC's committed to him, right?
Not everyone, that's for sure. Because there sure seems some sources in that building who want him out.
It's like they can't wait to leak this stuff to reporters. It almost feels that way. So to like embarrass him, because the way that the hiring process went, there were a lot of people who thought that Belichick went behind their back. So I think that he will get back into the NFL, but I think he'll be as a defensive coordinator or something like that.
That is, you say that like, of course it makes sense, but can you see Bill Belichick being the second coach on a staff? I mean, for example, the Giants, we brought up yesterday, Brian Daboll keeps his job, has a good chemistry with Jackson Dart, and then has Bill Belichick as his defensive coordinator? There's something weird about that. The greatest coach of all time doesn't call the shots, all the shots.
Well, I think if you hire Bill Belichick for defense only, you let him do his thing.
I love it, but I just think that Belichick has too much experience running the whole team. He could sit there and watch Brian Daboll make the major decisions.
See, I think that he would just get obsessed with the defense. Like, I think Belichick has a do-your-job kind of mentality that he always spouts to everyone else, but I do think he kind of lives it. And right now, his job is literally everything that has to do with the program. I think if he was just defense, I think he'd get tunnel vision on the defense and just try to coach up those guys as best as he can. And I remember once talking, this is on a much different scale, obviously, but talking to Wade Phillips once about hiring for jobs. And I'm like, what's the hiring process for you? Like, are you getting up on a whiteboard? And he like laughed. He's like, no, either you want me or you don't want me. I don't actually interview for jobs anymore. And I think the same thing would be Belichick. You know, someone would bring him in. Maybe it's like Sean McVay. It doesn't even have to be Brian Daboll. It could be somebody,
Sean, I mean, you're assuming he loses Chris Shula, who's kind of hot right now. But
I don't think it would be, it could be Kyle Shanahan if Robert Saleh gets another shot. I mean, Saleh's been excellent with this defense. He's not a good head coach, as EJ knows, but everyone who goes to the Jets fails. So I think Belichick gets back in.
I'll go next level with this. Belichick will not be a defensive coordinator because what's the one legacy issue that he has hanging over his head? That I was just here running the defense and Tom Brady ran the offense. And when Brady left, my offense fell apart. So if he goes to, say, the New York Giants and is awesome at defense, that will sort of reinforce this idea that he had nothing to do with the Patriots offense through the years.
Is that what people say, that he had nothing to do with the offense? Is that really?
Well,
they just credit, I think they just credit Brady for executing it.
I mean, listen, we know that he was originally mainly a defensive guy.
Yeah, of course.
And then he did cross over in the offensive room a lot. I do think that there is this idea, like you said, he's a defensive genius. So it doesn't take long to get to the fact that, well, Tom Brady was secretly running the offense. I mean, he was. He was Tom Brady.
Let's answer some poll questions, shall we? You're welcome to weigh in on Belichick, 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. The fact that he's now a finalist for Pro Football Hall of Fame, this selection committee about coaches, do you think this signals that he is done with the NFL and probably done coaching for good, if we're being honest? More for you. Do you find Sean Payton obnoxious? And we asked this question realizing that the wording is a little strange, but I think Sean Payton would actually appreciate this question. And it's off of Russell Wilson, his former quarterback in Denver, really blowing him up on social media. 75% say yes, Sean Payton is obnoxious.
Yeah. Sean Payton, in an honest moment, would have voted yes.
And about that scathing tweet that Russell Wilson sent, kind of a little against character, we asked you, who do you think wrote that scathing post? Was it Russ or was it Ciara? 59% of you are saying Ciara wrote that post.
Definitely.
And we got another one for you. Our great debate today. What is the greatest single game playoff performance? Individual playoff performance. Andrew Bogish should be happy to know that his selection of Don Larson's perfect game is leading the rest of the pack.
Whoa. It's not the flu game?
Flu game is second. My selection of Vince Young against USC is third. And Walt Clyde Frazier's Game 7 is fourth.
They must not be familiar with the body of work of Michael Jordan.
Manny picked his 63 points, although it wasn't a loss, but still. Go vote.
Go vote for me.
Thank you, EJ Stewart. Thank you, Manny Rodriguez, Andrew Bogish, Andrew Kaplan, Guido's Coffee Drinkers. Thank you to Bill Michaels, who joined us as well. We'll catch you tomorrow.